sports town in America.
They're on their feet at TD Garden.
Thank you, Boston, for making us your home for sports for the past 15 years. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox are now 3-3 on their road trip after outlasting the Astros in Houston last night 6-5. The Sox scored 3 in the top of the first, allowed 3 in the bottom of the first, and it was a close game all night. Jarren Duran had 4 hits in this one, and that includes a tie-breaking homer in the top of the 8th inning for Alex Cora.
He's so dynamic. He's so good. He's becoming one of those guys that I bet people are paid to watch. Like you want to see it, and you better get here early because from the first pitch on, he's going to do something special.
Kansas City had their 5-game winning streak snapped by the Angels last night, so the deficit is now 3.5 games to the Royals for the final wild card spot. Red Sox will wrap up their 3-game series in Houston this afternoon. They have also released Dominic Smith 4 days after designating him for assignment. Top prospect Marcelo Mayer hasn't played a game yet since his promotion to AAA Worcester. Yesterday, he was placed on the 7-day injured list with a sore hip. The Patriots will be back at practice today after a day off yesterday. They play their 3rd and final preseason game on the road Sunday night against the Washington Commanders. Yesterday, the team placed wideout Jaquaid Jackson on injured reserve. They claimed wideout Matt Landers off of waivers from Cleveland and signed free agent defensive lineman Kobe Jones. Former Patriots defensive back Jawan Williams has signed with New Orleans, and the Seattle Kraken have signed forward Matty Beniers to a 7-year contract extension worth just over $7 million a season. Sports Hub headlines are powered by the commuter rail. Skip the traffic torment this upcoming Labor Day weekend and ride with the $10 weekend pass that'll include Labor Day on Monday. Get your 3-day pass with the M-Ticket app. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Fred, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Loopity about with a football.
98.5. The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. We are in the Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us on YouTube. Simply go to YouTube, search 985thesportshub.com, and cram the subscribe button.
Cram it?
Yeah, cram it down. And again, I'll say it again because I'm sure a lot of you make YouTube content out there, which is YouTube is not like the world of podcasting. YouTube, I think you can break through.
Yeah.
The thing about YouTube is this: is that if you have something like how to get your dog to stop peeing on the floor, or how to get your dog to stop eating the couch. Like something when someone's looking at, or how to fix a leak in your like a I know, Hardy, it's getting excited.
I wasn't even paying attention for the first 3 minutes. Now you got me. Go ahead.
I'm used to it. Or how to fix like a sprung pipe, So you would assume if you're making the video, the people that are seeking this out.
Sprung pipe. Listen to this guy. Go ahead. It's cute.
You think you studied?
I also say Pischetti. So you'd figure that someone looking at these videos is like, hey, how to plug a tire, right? Someone looking.
I saw that on a reel yesterday.
So you'd figure that the person that's going to experience this is in a bit of a rush. The dog's eating the couch. The dog can't stop peeing all over the place. I have water flying from a pipe.
How to save the mailman who's choking.
Yes, all these things are true. These are things above the essence. And then so you'll go to it and they'll go, hey, I'm Sam, and I train dogs. I've been doing it since 1984. Now, here's how you're going to get your dog to stop eating the couch. Well, first, I appreciate everyone who's looked at the channel, and I need you to cram that subscribe button.
Take a look at my. Here's an option. Here are the windows for 6 other videos you could possibly look at.
And if it was an ad, I'd almost understand it more because at least you're getting ancillary income from it. The telling people to subscribe right now, you jackass. What? How dumb can you be? I got news for you. Give the good information, get the people to go super keen, and then at the end, go, hey, if you enjoyed this video, if it's so important to you, hit subscribe. God, and it drives me insane because I'm like, I'm going to use YouTube. Now, listen, I'm on YouTube every time before I take a nap. I got the ASMR videos on. I got the digging the crates. I got everything going on. I got my algorithm is cooking. YouTube's got the best algorithm out there. You know that. They can keep you. I got Saturday Night Live, the real story behind season 6. I got everything cooking down there. They know exactly what Freddie T wants to see before he takes a snooze. And so, but if I seek out your channel and it's for something of the essence, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting there literally screaming at the YouTube channel, you piece of garbage.
So has any channel done it right?
Yes, there are occasionally. And because there was a time when I first got my dog where he was real hyper. And so I was like, and so I kind of fished around and I'd be like, son of a bitch, a-hole, da-da, and then I'd find one and they would just like get right into it. And I'd be like, good.
Okay. Now, because they did it right, did you subscribe and smash that subscribe and like button?
Nah.
See, that's the point. They figure once you get the information, you're going to close that window and go off and do your project. So it doesn't matter.
Can I tell you something, though? Customer service. You call, they say, hey, at the end of this, there's going to be a review.
Brief survey. And
you go, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do it. Then you're blown away by the how kind the person was. And they said, would you mind doing the survey? And at the end, I'll go, you know what? I'll do the survey.
That is very selfless of you. And it's a gesture. And on behalf of customer service professionals worldwide, I'd like to say thank you.
Wow.
I'm a fan the worst English they speak. Because I almost feel like I'm over. I almost feel like I'm continental at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like a James Bond type.
You took a little vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I go, huh? And then they get annoyed with me because I can't understand them. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah. All I wanted was to figure out why there was a late fee on this credit card bill. And I feel like I had an exotic experience as a result.
I told you about the time where they actually called me because they heard about me talking about it on the air, and I never said what business it was. But I told you about when I called the car company, the car dealership.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, it saved my ass not going there. Like it actually was like a really good thing that happened.
Just to refresh everyone's memory, the woman you spoke to was having a very bad day.
I don't know if she was having a bad day, but I got to imagine that it happens all the time. And I'm like,
yeah.
And what happened? So I needed something done to my car, and she was like,
wanted nothing to do with you whatsoever.
Yeah, like what do you mean? And I'm like, and then finally she just kept going. I'm like, I'm trying to give you money.
Yeah.
And she goes, I go, my daughter was with me. I'm like, I'm trying to give you money. This tone of voice. What's going on? I'm trying to give you money.
Oh, you did not raise your voice at all to this woman.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Just to make sure.
I
Yes.
wish Zoe was here. She would tell you.
Okay.
Like, I was like, yeah, I said, I'm trying to give you money. I don't know what's going on. She goes, don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
And then so I just hung up, and it ends up costing this car dealership. I mean, they know they make all their money doing service work.
That's right. That's the
so,
thing.
So
Yeah.
it's oh no, it was when I needed the body work done to the car.
Right.
And I ended up going somewhere else, paying like $2,000 in body work. Now I'm never going to take my car then again, and I'm never going to buy a car from there again. Both my kids are in the market soon to get cars. I've almost exclusively bought this brand of car. So I literally I don't know how much they make per thing, but say all the service and all the cars combined, I mean, that could have cost them $170,000 in business because of one lady. And I told you that would drive me crazy. And I was a terrible employee, too, until I got into radio. And then I just started being a
model
outstanding.
citizen. Yes.
Believe me, I wasn't the worst. I'm not the worst dealing with management. There's a reason I'm still standing here. And I will tell you this, is that if I owned a business and I knew that there was some schmuck, like not a corporation, but a business. Like I owned it. Like I owned a car dealership. Mm-hmm. And I knew that there was some schmuck yelling at the customers. I would it would drive me insane that you just cost me $120,000. There's dropping like a drink when as a bartender. There's screwing up a phone call. But think about it. A low-level employee costing you $120,000 in future business.
Everything you laid out, I believe, and I'm, I can hear in my mind the way the whole thing played out. Yet I find myself siding with the woman. I don't know why. I just think that she probably did the right thing, and I think the dealership is probably better off.
Well, they called and apologized because they figured it out.
Did they sound sincere?
They called and apologized.
I wasn't there.
They called and apologized. And I never said what it was, and I never said the business, but they listen to the show. They have employees that listen to the show, and I never called them back. I said no.
I don't even need a car. I think I might go down there. Just do a little kick the tires on the lot.
Well, the car I got was the wrong color, and I'd been waiting for 2 years. But at that point, I was pretty invested in the whole process.
But back to the YouTube thing. You're absolutely right. The DIY videos, for the most part, I find very helpful. And a lot of it is when you don't want to go into the manual or find a manual online for something to fix it, and it's like just put in the name, make and model of what you've got there. I told you I had it for a receiver that we have hooked up to the sound system, and it just in the family room, and it just went. The whole thing just shut off. Like it powered down, it wouldn't power back up. I'm like, oh God, this isn't good. And I called the place where I bought it, and they're like, got to bring that in, and we don't do that. That's not a bench job for us. We got to send that back. I'm like, oh man. I go on YouTube with the name of it, and they said, oh, you just need a hard reset. And the guy in the video said, hit power, hit source, hit volume, and hit these 5 buttons, and it'll turn it back on. And sure enough, it did. I'm like, that stuff is great. But anytime it's this is anybody who's trying to sell you lessons for anything, like learn how to play lead guitar, fix your slice, anything like that. Those are the ones. And Fred, you said you have an answer, and I don't remember being satisfied with your answer. You can try and give it to me again. Why? What is the purpose of these guys saying, I'm going to show you, how to play the tuba? And you don't even need a tuba. You've always wanted to be a tuba player, and within 2 minutes you'll be John Philip Sousa, man. You'll be marching down the street, and everyone's gonna love you. But first, let me tell you how I got into this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right? And I've sat through those things before for sometimes 15 minutes. They keep reeling you in and reeling you in and reeling you in to the point where if they paid me money to watch the next 2 minutes, I wouldn't do it. I was so pissed off.
It's because they're not savvy. Again, if you're reading, I imagine if you have a YouTube channel, if you're listening, it's for fun. But but if the goal is to just have like a video or two that like ends up taking off and you make like a little, like you make a little money off of it, sincerely, just get right to the point, and then at the end, tell because I assure you that if people are pleased with what you've done, they're much more likely to do it at the end. I think that's why, that these companies have you take these surveys after the call. Like they don't, I know it's because you're reviewing the customer service, but there's like a reason that they want you to do it that way. If you're reading an ad for money at the beginning of it, I God bless you because you're getting paid. So do whatever you want. But if you're not, get right into the content. Well, it's funny because I do listen to this Rich Roll podcast, and I like Rich Roll. It's the only podcast I listen to, and I don't listen to all of them. But if there's a guest I think might be interesting, then I'll listen to it. He does this thing where he does 2.5, 3 minutes of ads at the beginning of it. I've never once heard an ad. It's not smart. He starts and I think he's a really intelligent guy. He seems like a really great guy, but his business, it's not smart. He starts with, so if you're an advertiser, allow me to take you through this. He starts with 3 ads. I know by listening to it, it starts with 3 ads. I've never heard an ad. I just hit 30 seconds until I get to the content. And then when it goes into ads, it goes woo, woo, woo. So here's the deal. Well, what's the difference with radio? Well, radio, it's on live and it's on there's not a pattern to it. And how many times have you been like parallel parking, or how many times have you been like on the freeway and you're thinking about something else, and these ads are like ingrained into your mind? Or if a broadcaster, like one of the hosts of the show, first commercial out of the set is a live read, and you're like, oh yeah, Felger or Bertrand's talking about this thing, and then you end up sticking around. You want to hear if he says something funny in the thing. Podcasts are having a very tough time having successful advertising. But that I was at the gym yesterday. They had CNBC on, and that Call Her Daddy lady, $125 million, I think, from Sirius XM.
Fantastic.
That's the kind of money they're throwing around regular radio right now.
No, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Who's the Call Her Daddy lady?
It was Barstool, and then it became Spotify. Yeah, and now Sirius is bidding for it.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. I think she has a really big audience. And that makes a lot more sense to the Kelsey brothers. The Call Her Daddy girl, listen, Alex Cooper, if you but that makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is the Kelsey brothers. I almost hope that a company makes that decision and pays the Kelsey brothers $100 million.
Alex Cooper, $125 million for 3 years.
I don't know. Dan, go ahead.
You are so right, Fred. Ads, like, I'm 39. I've just been, I tune out ads completely. And it's okay. We can take like a 2-3 minute break, 5-minute break between segments of the radio. I'm okay with that. I'm just driving a truck,
Yeah.
But like the only time I listen to an ad or I stop and it actually gets my attention, you can read an ad and just stop and scream for no reason. Or the live ones you do with the dunks when you try to like incorporate like what you were just talking about and just talk about like boners and erections or anything. It gets my attention,
Right.
I'm in for a good boner. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Northeast Men's Health, they specialize in giving you them. There's nothing wrong with that.
Drive your truck there right now. It's be waiting outside the front door when they open this morning.
Yep.
Hey,
What?
I need you.
Heard your ad on the radio. I'm ready.
I heard, yeah.
It's like a drunk
I've been
in a
thinking
bar.
of nothing else.
It's like a guy waiting for a liquor store to open.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I need my fix. I need my
Interesting
fix.
comparison. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right.
All right. You know, I never waited for a liquor store to open.
Well, there's that.
There is that. I never waited for a bar to open.
It's like the Chris Rock bit. I've never been to jail. You're not supposed to.
But in Atlanta, the bars on Sundays didn't open until 12:30,
Ah.
which was a situation because Braves games. I mean, let's be honest.
Sure.
Football Sunday. I can't get there at noon.
How many bars were you asked to leave?
In my life,
Yeah.
never in Atlanta. In Boston, I was there was a rooftop like the Rattlesnake.
Oh,
asked
yeah.
me to
Oh
leave.
yeah, I know it. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was making fun of I wasn't even that wasted. It was a Kentucky Derby party going on, and I was making fun of all these people for wearing hats and dressing up. I'm like, ooh, it's just like you're at the Kentucky Derby, except you're not. like, ooh, is this cosplay for like having money?
Yep.
And they kicked me out for that. And then I got cut off in Philadelphia one time, but I didn't get kicked out.
Okay, well that's different.
Yeah. I probably got cut off. I went until I was probably in late 30s before I ever got cut off. In Atlanta, they never cut you off or kicked you out. They didn't care. But like probably late 30s, I probably got cut off three or four times that I got kicked out of that Rattlesnake bar.
I got thrown out of a bar in East Lansing, and it was like our hang of the place we went to because I brought a flask in with me because I didn't have enough money to pay for shots that night, but I had a bottle at home and I filled the flask, and they saw me drinking out of the flask at the table. Apparently that's a no-no. I honestly thought they would have been cool with it, but they were not. I got like, you're kicking me out? This is like my second home.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, that's rare.
I was my feelings were hurt.
They
I
would
ended up going back. I mean, it was fine
No,
afterward.
you got to go back.
Yeah.
But that would have upset me too, because it's almost like an understanding with the bar. If you're a regular, like
Yeah.
they got to give you a break.
Yeah.
You got to really F up. Like even if you by accident walked out on a tab, they know you're going to be back. So
Right.
you got to, they'll go like, hey, last time you walked out on a tab. And they got to go, Fred, when you walk in and you go, and they go, you want a beer? And then you go like, yeah, does my uncle want to, slap me in the face?
that whole
Yeah.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what they missed.
Yeah, that's what they missed. All right, we'll be back with what happened last night. The Red Sox doing good things, and this, that, and the third. We'll be right back.
More.
Oh, we don't even have this now?
You are on and you are up. Is it on Fred's board,
I
perhaps?
think I
He's
might
up.
have it. No, let's see.
Give me the Casas home run spoiler alert, please.
This is a problem.
I have you. I'm double checking here, Hardy.
All right. In the meantime, I'm sure Wallach can play it for us.
Let's see. It says 3 minutes and 19 seconds long, so I doubt it.
All right, let's skip to what Duran did then.
Yeah.
Durant swinging away and a fly ball into left field. Dubon is back. He's turning around, and that ball's gone. Home run, Jaron Durant, and the Red Sox lead it 6-5.
Skipped all the way to the 8th inning.
Come on, dude. I mean, come on.
Oh, that is the type of commentary that we live for, though. Honestly, can we hear that one more time, please?
Losing skid to Houston.
Jaron Duran with the home run in the 8th. Just the analysis.
6-5.
Dude. Come on, dude. I mean, come on.
Dude, come on, dude. I mean, come on.
Only one more. Then they come home, and he stays there.
You guys don't like Millar, huh?
5.
Dude. Come on, dude. I mean, come on. He's turned into Yosemite Sam. I've had enough.
I'll tell you, after those two idiots that were doing the Kansas City series, I don't mind Millar at all.
Yeah.
At least he's, is probably doing shots.
Fred.
Dude.
Dude.
Come on, dude.
Come on, dude. Millar, repping the lingo.
I mean, come on.
I mean, come on. Cut it out, Dave Coulier. Full House, have mercy. Jesse and his friend are the Rush Hour Renegades. They don't wear headphones on the air. Do you remember the Rush Hour Renegades on Full House? They got an afternoon drive show in San Francisco.
Oh.
Greg Brady came on and did not play ball.
Dude.
So that gave the Red Sox the lead, which they would hold on to, and it was a good time had by all last night, at least by the Red Sox, who picked up the win. And
A rare win against Houston.
yeah, Kenley Jansen.
Fly ball right field. O'Neill is there, and the Red Sox win it. They finally knock off the Houston Astros for the first time this year. They break a 7-game losing skid to Houston. That is a big win tonight in Texas.
Dude, I mean, come on. Come on, dude. So there we go. Now, what does that mean for the Red Sox standings and the wild card? Well, things were being battled back and forth between the Guardians and the Yankees last night as Cleveland outlasted the Yankees in 12 innings, the longest game of 2024. Over 4 hours, Juan Soto and Aaron Judge hit back-to-back homers in the first inning, and it was very much staying that way until they went into extras last night. But the Guardians managed to erase that half-game deficit I believe they had against the Yankees and overtake them.
Yep.
And then Baltimore winners last night also.
Oh, wait. When getting back to the Yankees, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you this year, if you had to choose one guy for this year, not next year, this year, would you take Aaron Judge or Ohtani? Because Ohtani's not pitching.
And Aaron Judge is up to what, 45?
I'd still take
45 home runs.
I'd still take Ohtani.
I would not. I would take Aaron Judge. I think Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball. He's hitting .332 with 45 home runs.
Ohtani is 39 and he's stolen 36 bases.
I know.
He's hitting 300.
I know, but I think that Aaron Judge is a better hitter. Freeman hits in front of Ohtani, right?
No, Ohtani leads off.
Oh, really?
Ohtani leads off. Betts hits second.
No, Freeman's not hurt. His kid was sick, and then he came back.
And Freeman hits third. When everyone's healthy.
Well done. Yeah, it goes Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. That's not a bad top three.
No.
And then Tommy Edman goes, just what do you want out of me? I'll hit eighth.
He's at center now, right?
Shortstop. He can play anywhere, John.
Right.
Come on.
Okay.
Don't limit the guy to one position.
Sure.
So the Guardians win over the Yankees last night, puts them in the top spot along with Baltimore in the American League. Yankees half game behind them. Red Sox, in terms of your wild card standings,
They're not making the playoffs.
3.5 games out. Kansas City lost last night.
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs.
All right. I'm being told that we do have to go back to the Tristan Costas home run, just merely for the analysis, apparently.
Okay.
All right. Let's hear it. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, now here it is. Okay, very good. Everything's working so well in here this morning. By the way, Dan, this isn't working for anybody. My little toy box over here.
The
That's
wide
no
orbit's
good?
not working?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mine,
fantastic.
I just tried to load something into mine. It doesn't.
Oh, that's great.
Good.
Okay, good.
So this is a once-a-week thing now that the wide orbit doesn't work at this company.
Nick and I were talking about that off the air, Fred. Exactly.
Make sure it's working for Bloomberg Radio.
That's
they'll
important.
need it.
Right.
Get them.
Well, they're not going to need it. It's pumped in from somewhere else.
It is? Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, there's nobody going to be here.
Oh, no.
No, it's nice. It's more food for us.
Swing and a drive. Way downtown. Watch this baby go. Into the
Downtown, scoring some H in a male escort. Let's go downtown.
baby go. Into the second deck. Wow.
What's so funny? That's his job.
Yep.
Is to tell you what happened.
Yep. No.
Wow.
That's his job. That was a whoa. Woo.
I have never seen a home run hit in a baseball game before. Are you kidding me?
Downtown. Wow. Let's pick up a spike in some H.
All right. So there you go. Red Sox, as you said, and confirmed by Mr. Dave O'Brien there on that's a rare win for the Red Sox in Houston.
Yeah, I beat him to it.
Justin Verlander today, Fred.
Yeah, this is going to be a game that people nationally are keeping an eye on because that is true. Verlander is back tonight. I do not like the Red Sox chances.
He is making his first start since I think the second week of June tonight. Today, sorry.
All right, good. Alex Cora said they had to grind it out. But after yesterday, I got the sense that Alex Cora was speaking like a manager who has signed on with the team for a few more years, and he is just saying everything he can to keep people, happy because he is, in fact, going to be back. If they had lost like they had 2 nights ago, and he were planning on testing the free agent, the market, this offseason, trying to get a new job, would he be in there saying like, no, everything's fine. The pitching is going to be okay, and the bullpen just a little stutter there, but everything is good, and he'd be saying like, well, we don't play well enough, and we don't come up. Even Jensen, you can normally rely on, need him to step up there, and he didn't, and he allows the walk off and. No, it's just even the good stuff wasn't quite good enough tonight. That's what he should have and would have been saying had he not signed that extension earlier this season.
The Red Sox have given up 60 home runs since the All-Star break.
Yeah, they haven't been good.
That's remarkably bad.
Oh, the ERA is it's the worst.
Yes.
It's the worst in baseball.
The worst in Major League Baseball. Yeah. It's 5.8. Yeah, Cora's doing
But keep telling me the pitching is good. Keep telling me the pitching is good.
Cora is doing nothing has changed. Even with the acquiring the 2 relievers, Garcia's been horrible until last night. Nothing has changed. He's doing everything he possibly can.
But I'm convinced
nothing has changed.
He only sounds like that because they inked him to the extension.
Exactly.
I've thought
right.
about that a lot. I was thinking about if they hadn't done that, how ape crap he would be going right now.
Oh,
right.
God.
Which would be so much better.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the idea. Well, Mayer is hurt.
Yep.
So is he going to play again this year?
They think he will. Yes.
Okay, because next year is, I supposedly, because they moved all those kids up to AAA, next year is when they're all going to make their debut.
Next year. This is a bridge year. John Tomasi had an article online. This is a bridge year.
Oh, Tomasi.
Had one of those articles.
Benedict Arnold.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Those 4 guys are going to be front and center next spring. I mean, this is the year before the year. You know what I'm saying? That's what they. And you know what? It was fun because they're scrappy, they fight, they're in every game, but they're not talented enough.
So you know what? What's unfortunate for the Red Sox is that there is a bit of a precedent being set in their own division with the Orioles. The Orioles keep churning these kids out, and now they're, have this window where they're going to be really good for a while. The Red Sox, you could just look across the street and see a team that's done it. The Red Sox have a lot of pressure on them for these kids to pop.
Yeah.
Because the Orioles are hitting like crazy. Because they'll call up their catcher, they'll call up these kids, and then who's coming up next? Oh, the number 1 prospect in baseball.
Right.
So, their farm system was ridiculous.
And all these 4 kids are all graded in the top 100.
I know. Believe me, I've been hearing about them.
But,
my defense of the Red Sox this whole time has been that, they're waiting for these kids to pop, and next year is the year. And, again, the precedent is the Orioles. If you're not like the Orioles, then there's a problem. And you saw what the Orioles have done at the trade deadline the last 2 years. The Orioles have gone all in.
Yeah,
the Orioles are winning now.
Yep, trading for Corbin Burns, the whole thing. I agree. But this is exactly the blueprint. You don't think John Henry looked at this team 18 months ago, whoever's running day-to-day now, and went, you know what? This is what I want to do. And when you promote these kids and they get as much ink as all 4 of these kids have gotten, these guys are all on the clock. The organization is on the clock.
And don't let people tell you Tampa Bay is what they should be trying to copy. It's the Orioles.
Yeah.
What the Orioles are doing right now. The Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball. They're a small market, and they just had a sick minor league system. I suppose they drafted incredibly well, or they made great trades, and then I don't know how they acquired all these guys.
Well, you get high picks year after year, which they did.
No, I know they got.
Years.
I know that Reisman in Jackson Holiday were number 1 picks, I believe. But but it's not like, Tampa Bay, they're like in the mix. No. You got to win the division. Like in 2 years, you should be competing to win the division, and you should be going out and making big, bold moves to win then. Because you have a young core, fine. Now, here we go. Now it's time to win a World Series. You had your rebuild. Now it's over. And I don't want to hear Tampa anymore. You're not Tampa. It's not ridiculous to be as good as Baltimore. Let's be honest.
Dude.
Thanks, bro.
Come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
Come on.
Millar, he is such a California surfer type. All right.
Wow.
That was when John first. You want to hear John Wallach, his first Christmas when he opened up his Blackstone Magic kit? Hey, phone boy.
Oh,
the first time he opened up his...
it's from Lockhart about the Red Sox first round. Easy, phone boy. Want me to call you out every time you're on your frickin' phone?
If you go to me, well, you know what I'm doing. It has to be done.
Yeah. No, Lockhart says the Red Sox first round draft pick was playing for the Woo Sox last night. We have that sound. We also have updates from Dallas, where Jerry Jones was talking about the CeeDee Lamb extension, and a little rebuttal from Brian Flores. We have a lot of stuff cooking here.
All right, let it cook. All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
FanDuel Sportsbook, make every moment more with FanDuel. Hardy, what is going down?
As promised, first AAA at bat for the Red Sox first-round draft pick, Wallach.
Are you talking about Christian Campbell or Roman Anthony?
I'm talking about Christian Campbell.
Campbell hits a high chopper up the middle, and it's into center field for a base hit. Here comes Anthony around to score with ease. Up to second goes Sogard. Welcome to Worcester, Christian Campbell, as he bounces an RBI single right up the middle.
There you go. His first at bat there for
He's the
AAA
fourth.
Woo Sox.
He's the guy who just got promoted. He was the fourth of the big four. He hit 362 at Portland. And he started in high A, zipped through Portland, and here he is in Worcester. Second baseman, shortstop, center fielder.
All right, there you go. Let's go over to Dallas where Jerry Jones updating us on the talks with CeeDee Lamb.
We are having promising talks. Say, well, why you keep talking? Won't you do something? Again, as in anything, it takes both of you there at the same time. But I believe it's got the proper amount of everything, emphasis, importance for everybody involved here, and we'll see how it goes.
It takes two to tango.
Now, what I'm doing is walking back what I said a week or two ago when I said, I don't feel no urgency. It's got the proper amount of everything. Don't you worry. I heard from y'all that you didn't like what I said, and trust me, I'm doing everything right.
I'm going to go in the steakhouse bathroom with these two young ladies and let them take photos of me because I don't quite understand how phones work. If you could excuse me, I'm going to let these two 25-year-old girls lure me into a bathroom and start taking out their phones. Perhaps, what you guys doing with them phones? You telling your friends that you're with me?
You calling your mama telling them you're not going to be home tonight? Atta girl.
I mean, yeah, you're going to tell the babysitter to go home? I think that actually happened. Didn't that happen? Like there was something that he got fooled because he said that they were saying the babysitter. They were calling the babysitter. I don't know.
But they were.
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah. Good for you.
I was at Nobu last week. Huh?
I guess there's this steakhouse in Dallas that he frequents, and then you can lure him into the bathroom and take pictures with him. And he's just a big like. Dumb Texan sitting there taking pictures like nobody's business. I can't imagine being a Cowboys fan. And you're really like paying money and just rooting for a guy's toy. He's running it himself. He's got his kids all, his son-in-law cleaning his glasses in the box. There's got to be a point where when the ownership is like that, you got to tap out. Wow. That you're not even rooting for the Dallas Cowboys anymore. You're just rooting for Jerry Jones and his ego. And there's no way, shape, or form this guy should be the GM of this team. He's screwing everything up. There's no one that thinks he's handled the Dak Prescott situation correctly.
Well, he's got 3 contracts due at once, and they're 3 premium positions. You got Micah Parsons, you have CeeDee Lamb, and you have Dak Prescott. All at the same time. None of the 3 have been finished.
And the money just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And I heard a guy who writes about the Cowboys talking about it, and he said that forever Jerry Jones would rely on giving long-term deals and the cost of living in Texas and the appeal of playing for the Cowboys. And now players are like, no, I want guaranteed money, and I could give it F about the cost of living. And he's struggling coming to grips with that. He's going to have to pay as much as everyone else.
The thing is, what's the most important position for an NFL franchise? Quarterback, right?
Punter.
He just did this with Dak Prescott 4 years ago. He waited too long, and he wound up having to give Dak 4 years at $160 million. At the time, 4 years ago, $40 million for a quarterback was unheard of. And now he just did it again.
And what is their plan if they don't re-sign Dak Prescott? What exactly? How are they going to go end up with another quarterback? Who's going to quarterback their team? Would you rather have Tua or Dak Prescott?
Oh, jeez.
I'd rather have Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Would you
How
rather?
old is Prescott now?
He's not old.
Yeah.
28, 29, 31.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Jordan Love or Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott.
Oh, I'd rather have Jordan Love.
See, for me, it's like a 6 to 1/2 dozen of the other, I guess, because Love's younger. But but Dak Prescott's proven more.
Yeah.
Look at Prescott's his numbers from last season. They're phenomenal. Sure, they lost in the playoffs, but his numbers during the regular season were phenomenal.
That's been the one thing about Dak is his inability to do it in the playoffs.
Yeah, but how? I mean, is that entirely his fault?
No,
So he's
it's
great
not.
in the regular season, and then
Prescott led the NFL in touchdown passes last year.
yeah, his numbers in the regular season are phenomenal.
36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, over 4,500 yards.
What was the score of the playoff game? Didn't they get blown out?
Yeah, they lost to Jordan Love, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they got blown out, but
they were down big early.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much of that is Dak Prescott's fault?
It was 48-32.
Yeah, but earlier on, I mean, Green Bay got a mammoth lead.
Well, whatever, 48-32. How much of that is Dak Prescott's fault? Well, I mean, did he throw 3 pick sixes?
He threw 2 picks. I don't know about pick sixes.
And that was only because they had a 16-point fourth quarter at halftime. They were down 27-7.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, 2-5 in the playoffs. 7 interceptions.
You mentioned Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if we have time for it here, but Brian Flores responded to the commentary that was seemingly directed at Flores by Tua. We heard it yesterday.
We can do that.
Definitely.
We can do that in a little bit. We
Okay.
can have that for you because when we come back, why was Crash Clark on the air yesterday? Well, we'll tell you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
Casas added a homer and 3 RBIs of his own, and he saw Kenley Jansen contribute a drama-free ninth inning for the save.
Greg came in after taking a couple of days off, really did a great job. Kenley bounced back with a 1-2-3 inning right there. That's huge. But yeah, we knew we were going to have our hands full coming into the week this series, so it's glad to at least get one. You know, we're going to come back tomorrow, quick turnaround. We got a pretty good pitcher on the mound.
Sox are 3-3 on this road trip. The trip ends in Houston today. Cooper Criswell will oppose Justin Verlander. Verlander's making his first start off the injured list after dealing with neck soreness for the last 2 months. The Sox have also released Dominic Smith 4 days after designating him for assignment. Top prospect Marcelo Mayer hasn't played a game yet in Worcester, and yesterday he was placed on the 7-day injured list with a sore hip. Patriots will be back at practice today after a day off yesterday. They'll play their third and final preseason game on the road Sunday night against the Washington Commanders. Yesterday, the team put wideout Jaquay Jackson on injured reserve, claimed wide receiver Matt Landers off of waivers from Cleveland, and signed free agent defensive lineman Kobe Jones and rookie free agent linebacker Christian McCarroll. And former Patriots defensive back Jawan Williams has a new home again. He is signed with New Orleans after spending last season splitting his time between Chicago and Minnesota. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern MedTech. Are you currently using a CPAP machine and tired of the painful process of ordering supplies for your CPAP? Eastern MedTech of New England has the widest selection of CPAP supplies, all in stock and available to ship immediately. Visit easternmedtech.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Tuncher and Hardy, welcome to our program. Our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And follow us on YouTube. Put 98.5 The Sports Hub in YouTube. And then just smash the subscribe button so we get the algorithm all cooking. Now, Crash Clark, our good friend Crash Clark, was on the show yesterday, and he was so good that we didn't even get to why we had him on. There was a reason I wanted to have him on, despite the fact that he's a good friend of mine. And look for Crash. We have a dedicated email now set up that is going to be for Ask Crash. We're going to bring back Ask Crash. He was so good yesterday that I want to bring back Ask Crash. A bit we did at BCN, but I definitely want him to do it again. So look for that after the Labor Day holiday. All right, so here's the deal. Adults going to Disney is weird to me. But Crash is a really good friend of mine, and he does it. Dan Roach, we all love Dan Roach, and he does it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to just universally crap on people that are adults that go to Disney World, because there are more than that, people that I like that take great joy in doing it. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I have no friends who like the Grateful Dead. That's a deal breaker. But, I mean, if two of the people I like most on the planet are Disney adults, then I'm not going to just universally slam it. But I want you Disney adults to listen to this and then tell us if you want to. 617-779-0985. Your opinions on this particular gentleman.
His name is Jeff Reitz, and Jeff was recognized.
Him and his friends go around. I just want to give Mary a heart attack.
This man is truly celebrated and recognized, and just last year he was awarded a Guinness World Record for what he accomplished going back pre-COVID. This went on 4 years. I don't want to spoil what he did, but it is something worthy of honor and recognition, and we have the story here.
If you want to take the place of Crash, who was on yesterday, if you want to take the place of him and speak as an advocate for the adult Disney people, because it's low-hanging fruit, a bunch of people have done it. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I just want to know what your opinion of this particular gentleman is.
This just might be the happiest guy on earth.
No. No, I can assure you he is not.
Well, go ahead. I got a little background on Jeff. I don't think he was the happiest guy on earth when this whole thing started, but go ahead.
Unless he's, under the influence of a lot of serotonin drugs, I don't think he's the happiest man on the earth. I think that a great deal of the population's happier.
This just might be the happiest guy on earth.
Let's have some fun.
Because for more than 2,000 consecutive days, he's visited the happiest place on earth, Disneyland.
So 2,000 days in a row. He has not missed a day for 2,000 days in a row.
He began the streak on January 1st. Now, this goes all the way back to 2012, at the time when this all started, at a time when Reitz was unemployed and sought something fun and uplifting to do.
Yeah, and what a better way to improve yourself and the world than to buy a season pass to Disneyland and just keep going back and forth. This should be celebrated so much. When you have that amount of energy and free time to really devote it to complete nonsense, nothing that will get you anywhere intellectually, spiritually, nothing that helps the world. Congratulations.
But you're down in the dumps. You're going through Disney, and then you see one of the characters, and it cheers you up.
Hi, it's Donald Duck.
And
oh, boy. And by the way, this creep is so 2,000. I'm not making fun of you if you're an adult Disney person. This guy, I'm honestly not. I just told you, two of my good friends are. This guy, but 2,000 times in a row, and he's taking his picture with the Cinderella lady. He's been there 2,000 times in a row, you pervert. What are you taking your picture? It's just a hot chick in a costume. It's cosplay. And then he's talking to her, and he's like, isn't this great? I think it might be in this. And she's like, yeah, it's good. Like, yeah, dude, she's in costume. She's working. She's there for children. If you're an adult, you've never been there before, fine. Take your picture with Cinderella. I don't care. 2,000 times in a row? That's a lot of pictures. That's stalking. At that point, that's stalking. If you went into a diner 2,000 days in a row and took a picture with a waitress, you should be arrested.
Hi there.
Is that all Nick? Nick, you actually have a talent. Did you know that the voice of Donald Duck, his name was Ben Shapiro? And let me tell you something. He once woke up covered in his own feces.
Hi, it's Donald Duck.
Oof.
Hi, Dan.
I wasn't there that day.
So how many days have you been here?
Today's 2004.
You're crazy. Jeff Reitz doesn't think he's crazy, but since January...
No, he's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I don't... Would you let him babysit your children?
No.
All right.
No. I think he's full of magic and wonder.
Would you let him babysit your children?
Well, they're old enough to where they don't need babysitters, Fred.
Say, let's go back 15 years ago. Would you have let him babysit your children?
Why, of course not.
Thank you.
Okay.
Glad we had to go through the exercise before you went there. So just let me tell you this. I would let a recovering alcoholic 1,000,000 times watch my kids before I would let this guy.
How long have they been in recovery?
Of 3 months. I'd let him do it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
They're good.
It's like a few days.
I mean, I might wait for the 100 meeting and 100-day mark, but I'd still.
It's 90 and 90, but come on.
January 1st, 2012, the 44-year-old has been at Disneyland every single day.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the guy I want to let into my house.
Yeah,
that's the guy.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, how many people have you abducted? Okay.
Then the
To
lights
be
go
fair,
on.
at that point in the video, he is riding the very fun teacup ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Him and his girlfriend are riding the teacup ride, and he's laughing like a lunatic.
When he
And I got news for you: the teacup ride's for kids. And second of all, it's not that fun the 2000th time. Nicholas.
Sorry.
Okay.
He wraps up work checking in patients at a VA hospital. He hops into his car and makes the 20-minute drive to the theme park in Anaheim, California.
Hey, man, I'm in constant pain and numb. I stepped on a landmine and knocked off my right leg. Can you help me out? No, I'm going to Disney. The teacup's the wait. Man, it just every time I close my eyes, I just see my friend getting shot right in front of me. Have you ever been on the teacups? It's a jamboree.
Where he's become a mini celebrity.
Are you Jeff?
I am.
Oh my gosh, you are an inspiration, sir.
His
Oh, no.
An inspiration.
False idols, my friend.
Do you think that woman really knew him, or did they like that's a plant almost? Like, hey, we're doing a story on this guy. He's been here like 1,000 days. All right, could you come up and say something?
Like a production assistant that they're like, hey,
Because
we'll give you extra credit if you go up and say you like the guy.
Right.
Are you Jeff?
I am.
You are an inspiration, sir.
There's just so much magic.
You're an inspiration. Oh, my God. You played Space Invaders every day for 2 years. You're a real inspiration.
Are you Jeff?
I am.
You are an inspiration, sir.
And he
There's just so much magic.
And he hasn't been sick for 2,000 days. He's going in there with like all kinds of illness and getting kids sick. You piece of garbage.
His girlfriend Karen tags along a few times a week.
Yeah, and the other times a week she's with the mailman. With a real man. Hey, Nicholas, don't do that.
And yup, their relationship began where else? At Disneyland.
Well, Crash's did
She
too.
spoke English, so that's good.
Well, Crash was making out with the Argentinian woman he ended up marrying and staying married to for about 7 months. They were making out when they first met in line. We found out yesterday for the ride that he got her on with his Fast Pass.
Our first date was on day 660. It was a Monday night during the
666.
Oh.
Our first date was on day 666.
Great minds.
That was really good. I'm really impressed by
It
that.
was not planned.
That was not planned.
really
Great
good.
minds. I thought the same thing.
Wow.
Our first date was on day 666. We take the blood of children. We let the god of the river Styx bathe in the blood of children that we sacrifice.
Our first date was on day 666. It was a Monday night during the Mickey the Halloween
During one of
parties.
Mickey's Halloween parties.
Hi there.
We were the kids.
Is mountains of splashing good times.
We were the two adults there without. We were the two adults. They kicked us out of the bouncy house, and that's when we knew we were both meant for each other.
Every day, Jeff feels like a kid again, riding his favorite attractions, including the spinning teacup.
Now, every day should you feel like a kid again? Every day. What is the need to every day feel like a kid again? You're an adult. A week. Again, Dan and Crash are good friends of mine. Fine. A week, 3 days, couple times a year. You want to feel like a kid again. You shouldn't feel like a kid again every day. Every day, that's unnecessary. Every day, you're not helping society.
You're running away from something.
Yes.
This is you are running away from something, or using the stalker angle, you're running towards something. But you're not. This is not
nothing
normal
good's
behavior.
happening for it. It's either really bad for you or really bad for everyone else, and I'm not exaggerating.
Either way, you are in a bad state of mind.
You are in a very bad state of mind. You shouldn't infantilize yourself. You shouldn't. That shouldn't be something people strive for. And it shouldn't be something someone's inspired by. You're so afraid of life that you have to go to Disneyland every day and pretend you're a kid again?
Once he was 1 day past the 1 year mark, Disneyland gave him an honorary citizenship certificate. And at the 2 year mark, they gave him dinner.
Oh, wasn't that nice of them?
By the way, I wonder if he wants to go back to his childhood middle school days and just put his face in a toilet.
Jeez.
They flush it.
Hi, Dan!
Does he eat lunch alone at Disney like he probably did when he was a kid?
Oh, they gave him the booth away from the other patron.
What about his childhood is so good?
They're like, you sit over there. Don't interact with anybody else.
What does he not want to get laid? Is that the whole thing?
Yeah. How many times do you think he's asked to stay in the castle?
Yeah. What part of his childhood does he want to get back to? I can't imagine this guy's childhood was on point. Was it what time when his father said he disowned him?
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Oh, my gosh. And the flying Dumbo ride.
What is your favorite thing to do when you come visit?
There's just so much magic.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
Okay, so he's talking to Cinderella here.
Yeah.
He's talking to the woman dressed as Cinderella, who, again, if you visit once, twice a year and you take a picture with Cinderella, God bless you. 2,000 times in a row. And you're bothering them. And B, come on, dude. How many times have you gotten your picture taken with this particular woman? She probably knows who you are. And they probably talk about you underneath Disneyland. There's no way the employees are all this creep keeps coming around and taking his picture with me every day.
Right. Yeah. They're not they're not happy. They can't be happy to see him.
If anything else, if nothing else, they're a little concerned. If nothing else, they're a little concerned.
Oh, God. I think it's more than a little.
Let's be honest, not playing around. If you were a woman, right, a woman whose job it was, an attractive woman whose job it was to dress as Cinderella, and a guy, every shift that you were on, there was a guy that came out and took his picture and talked to you. Wouldn't that unnerve you a little bit? Wouldn't that scare you?
Of course.
I mean, if any woman wants to call in, feel free. I can't I'm on the side of the woman here.
There's just so much magic.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
It is.
And with more than 2,000 visits under his belt, we just had to ask, how many more days can this go on?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure that's what he's asking himself.
That's what all the employees are asking.
I have a calendar at home, and I just mark off each day. Oh, to count your days at Disney? No, just my projected end date. How many more I have left? Just a big X over each day.
Until the rapture. I'm getting them all in until the rapture.
Another one in the books. Can't be that many more.
The pixie dust is still affecting me and keeping the smile going, and we'll see what happens.
So the two rides that he rode while they were there, and it might not be fair, but the two rides that he went on while they were filming him were the teacup rides and the Dumbo ride. Are, I would assume, the Dumbo ride certainly is for very small children.
He was recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records when he got to day 2,995 for having visited Disneyland the most consecutive days in a row.
Well, listen, it's like any other record. It's something to be strived for. It's like winning an Olympic medal. Captain Caveman, you're a Disney adult.
Yes, sir.
You're a Disney
Yes,
adult.
sir, I am. I admit it, I am.
Okay, and again, I told you I have friends that are, but what is your feeling on the 2,000 days in a row?
It's creepy as hell, number one. And I'll add this to it. There's a really long line to go see Cinderella. So he's waiting for almost up to 2 hours to do this. It's not like he's happened to walk by to go from one ride to the other and says, "Oh, look, Cinderella, I'll take a picture." No. He's in there to win it for that period of time. And I'll just add this, too, this might add to the creepy meter, but if you got to pick any of the princesses with to get a picture with, you got to go with Jasmine, not Cinderella or Aurora or the others. And I think you can figure out why, but yeah, it's creepy as hell.
All right, very good.
Is mountains of splashing good times.
I wonder if he's like, what's your real name?
Yeah.
I'm sure that question's been asked.
Like a stripper?
Yeah, right.
Like, I never give anyone my real name. What's your real name? Hi. He's in the parking lot. Hi. I just wanted to see you without the costume on. I've been sprinkled with pixie dust. There is a return to, like, being infantile that's being celebrated in the culture right now.
Not to this extent.
Yeah, but minor. It's a minor situation. That's
diaper
going on.
spa, Atkinson, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean,
Case closed.
In the diaper spa, I was all for.
Yeah,
let the people go to the bathroom in their diaper if they want to. Ian O'Connor, I hope he was listening to last break. He wrote a book about Aaron Rodgers. He talked to Aaron Rodgers. It's out now. We will find out what he's learned about the enigma, the mystery that is Aaron Rodgers.
Are you deaf?
I am.
You're an inspiration, sir.
There's just so much magic.
Oh, boy.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
This summer's hottest lineup ain't at no music fest.
No.
It's at Dunkin' because Dunkin' is serving up some Toucher and Hardy. Ian O'Connor is a 4-time New York Times best-selling author. He's got a new book out called Out of the Darkness, The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers. And it is the definitive biography of the NFL's most captivating and polarizing figure. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers made Pat McAfee a tremendous amount of money. Having those interviews, his willingness to say what's on his mind, it pisses some people off. Some people love him. Ian joined us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, Ian.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you, Fred?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Why you? How did you come up with the idea that you would be the person to write the book on Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I actually starts with Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi coached at my high school, and actually that was the only head coaching job he ever had before he coached the Packers. He also lived 8 houses from my childhood home, so I always was fascinated by the Packer dynasty way back when and their mystique. So I thought I had a Packers book in me, and then all of a sudden I was working on a LeBron bio, and Aaron got traded into my backyard, and I figured I would pivot to him, thinking that it's the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, together, a very unlikely partnership, but thought if he ever wins a championship for the Jets in New York with a biblical championship drought going back to January 1969, that would be a hell of a story. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I did think Aaron was worthy of a defining biography, and that's why I took it on.
Well, as a Jets fan, I can assure you it will not happen. As I am a Jets fan.
You're a Jets fan.
How did you become a Jets fan?
Okay, so I'm from Detroit, but my parents grew up in New York, and my mother used to make me stay in Long Island with her parents in August, and my cousins would take me to Shea at the time to see the Jets preseason games, and that's how I became a Jets fan.
Oh, that's okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a curse. It's a curse.
So it shouldn't go without saying, Ian, that you did speak with Rodgers for the book, because not all biographies include an interview with the subject. But out of the 250 other people that you spoke with, give me an idea of like the range. Are we talking about coaches, friends, family members? Who did you talk to for this?
All of the above, Robin. And his parents were probably the most critical because they've been estranged from him for running up on 10 years now. They had never really talked about the estrangement at any length. So sitting down with them and getting to know them, I actually drove them to the game last year on 9/11, Aaron's one-and-done game with the Jets. And that was a surreal experience because then I had to drive them home after what happened 4 snaps into the Jets season with Aaron having the torn Achilles. And so that was an interesting drive back to their Airbnb in Montclair, near where their son was living. I assumed they were hoping to run into him and did not. But that was a very difficult night for them. He's still there, flesh and blood. And so they occasionally go to some games. But, yeah, his parents, they were critical to the narrative. His brothers decided not to talk to me. So I wish I would have gotten them. But Aaron didn't owe me a damn thing, and it's unauthorized, and I actually handed in the manuscript in late January, and then 2 weeks later the Jets said he was finally willing to see me. So I flew out to Malibu, sat with him in his backyard for 2 hours on the Pacific Ocean, checking facts and letting him counter some things, and he definitely made it a better book.
Okay, so Ian, one thing that is very interesting to me about Aaron Rodgers is that based on his personality, his relationship with his family, all these things, it's odd to me if you watch Hard Knocks or you see the guys that he played with in Green Bay, it just appears on the surface to me that Aaron's respected and liked by his teammates. I mean, you know, Lazard he brought guys from Green Bay. Nathaniel Hackett, he's got that relationship with him. Devontae Adams they're always talking about playing with each other. I know playing with Aaron Rodgers has its own benefits, but is that true? Or is he loved by his teammates now, and has that always been the case?
Yeah, Fred, that surprised me. I didn't know how beloved he was by. Now, I was at Jets camp last summer and this summer too, but last summer particularly, the way those players looked at him and talked about him, And when he was on Hard Knocks, that was a good thing for him because a lot of Jets fans thought he was a jerk coming into the market. And then they came away. I heard from so many Jets fans like, wow, he seems like a great leader, a great teammate. And we're very surprised by that, just given the coverage of him the last 3 years. But I ran into a longtime NFL official who told me that he basically despised Aaron Rodgers and everything he stood for. And this guy knows hundreds and upon hundreds of NFL players. And he said, I have to admit, I've never met an NFL player who doesn't like him. Now, two guys, Greg Jennings and Jermichael Finley, ripped him a few times over the years in Green Bay, but they had said a lot of positive things about him too. So that did surprise me, is that he is universally, almost to a man, over 20 years, respected, admired, and even loved. And I think a lot of people would be surprised by that.
What about his family? Because we had heard about the estrangement and whether it was him or who he was dating at the time. Is I know you talk about it in the book, but is it still a thing, or is he reconciled with certain family members?
Oh, it's still very much a thing. It's a living being, living organism that Aaron doesn't know how to kill. And so he's allowed it to linger and fester for now 10 years. And if you look at it, and everybody, and myself included, when I started the project, I thought there would be one defined reason or development or issue that caused it. And there really are like 15 different things. There's a lot of he said in the estrangement. He said, she said too. Olivia Munn has been blamed by the parents. They did blame her. I talked to them and I said, well, your son hasn't dated her in 7 years. So it can't all be her fault. Yeah, he had problems with his brothers. He was really upset when Jordan, his younger brother, went on The Bachelorette. You remember that? And talked about the estrangement. And they placed 2 empty chairs at the dinner table, signifying the absence of Aaron and Olivia Munn. He said, I wasn't even invited to that filming. And not that I would have gone, but he was upset about that. There are a lot of petty issues that are part of it. And to me, from the outside looking in, this thing should have ended years ago. I think Aaron, he told me that he has gotten close to reconciling, but then something weird always happens and he backs away. But I have a scene in the book that's hopeful. He hugged his dad last year at the Lake Tahoe Celebrity Golf Tournament. Aaron saw him in the crowd and went over, and Ed Rodgers was like, he turned around and there's Aaron 15 feet away from him. And he said he froze because he forgot what it felt like to have his son look at him. It's been 9 years. Aaron gave him a hug. They each said, I love you. It was very emotional. And they both told me it meant a lot to them. And for the first time since the estrangement started in 2014, Aaron said on the record, I want to have a relationship with a family member, and he wants it to be his father. So if that happens, I think the rest of the family will fall into place.
By the way, once Olivia Munn married John Mulaney, we had to know that it wasn't her fault. Mulaney's a great guy. I mean, you don't go marry John Mulaney and then have problems.
Sure.
But Ian, all right, so on the outside looking in, Aaron Rodgers has a lot of theories on things. They don't offend me, but my feeling in life is this, is that I don't know anything, right? And people know more than I do. But you get to know one thing, right? If it's the JFK assassination, that's one thing you know. If it's vaccines, that's another thing. Like, you get one. You don't get them all. Aaron, forget the issues and the controversial part of the issues. But Aaron has seemed to me as an outsider, as someone who thinks he's a lot smarter than he is, or no one's ever told him he was wrong. And that's why he just feels free to, like, almost talk down to people as if he's this expert on all these things because he took some classes sophomore year. There's a name for it, but I can't recall off the top of my head. When you sat down with him and when you talk to other people, is Aaron a smart guy? Is he as smart as he thinks he is? What's your opinion on that?
I think he's very smart, but not as smart as he thinks he is.
Okay, very good.
But hey, he got 1310 on his SAT. That's a better score than I got.
Well,
so
that means everything, as we've learned. I mean, those tests really measure everything. Go ahead.
So, yes, and he gets himself in trouble by trying to outsmart people. And obviously his life changed in August of 21 when he said those magic 4 words, yeah, I've been immunized. And that changed his entire life, not just his image, because ever since then, he's been considered a villain in the NFL. And before that, when he supported Colin Kaepernick, and he was on the right side of a lot of social issues, he was considered, particularly as a white star in sports, one of the most socially aware guys in the NFL and beyond. And the same media members that praised him for that then turned on him after he said those words, and it was discovered in November that year that he was not telling the truth. So, yeah, and he's dug in. And listen, you just look at the Jimmy Kimmel thing. He was not intending to say anything about Jimmy Kimmel on that edition of the Pat McAfee show, but A.J. Hawk blurted something out, and he went with it. He wanted to get back at Kimmel for making fun of him on his show about basically UFOs diverting attention away from the Epstein list that was about to be released. And he tried to get back at Kimmel because Aaron holds a grudge. I've said this before, like he holds a football with a very firm grip. He doesn't let go. And by trying to get back at Kimmel, he got himself in an awful lot of trouble. And so he has outsmarted himself while trying to show you how smart he is. And that has been a problem.
How much of all of the stuff that he has said would he take back, do you think?
The only thing I know of, frankly, is, and I asked him this question, why did you say that, those 4 words, because that changed your life? Why didn't you just tell your truth? His truth at the time was he was allergic to PEG, an ingredient in Pfizer and Moderna, and he was concerned about Johnson & Johnson side effects. I said, okay, I was vaxxed. If I were sitting in the room as a columnist for a Green Bay or Milwaukee outlet, and you said that, even though I was vaxxed, I would have found that to be a somewhat reasonable position, and I'm pretty sure I would have not hammered you in my column that day.
Yeah, and sure, screw you. And, the thing is screw the columnist that goes after him because, that's his decisions. But go ahead.
Yeah, and listen, even though I was vaxxed, I am pretty open-minded to that.
Well, sure,
I do
it's
listen.
his decision, right? Yeah,
it's his decision, and also he needs his body to make a living and to be an all-time great, and I don't as a writer and author. So his decision's a little different from mine because anything that impacts his body could cost him dearly in the competitive arena.
Sure.
So I understand that. But okay, so he gets killed, absolutely destroyed in November when the truth comes out. And I just said, Aaron, if you told your truth up front in August, I really don't think that would have happened to that degree. And he said, effectively, you're right. I should have told the truth. And I regret that because I gave critics the one thing they still have today that they have on me. And so I've never heard him admit a mistake in any context. So I was appreciative that he admitted that one.
Okay. And when just getting to his current time, how much did you get to talk to the Jets, and what's your read on how they're handling him, keeping Hackett? They wanted to hire someone to call offensive plays for them, and they didn't take the job. But, what is your feeling of the Jets and the way they're handling him, and if that's the right way? Because you probably know more about Aaron than a lot of people right now.
I think, Fred, and you might, as a Jets fan, be happy to hear this, there's a more serious and somber almost tone about their approach to this season. Last year was all hard knocks, the hype. We're going to the Super Bowl, we think, we hope. And it obviously was a total disaster. I think this year they're approaching it it just seems they have a more businesslike and serious tone about them, and Aaron himself. Now, in the early stages of his recovery from surgery, his trainer, Aaron Alexander, who basically moved in with him to oversee his treatment program, Aaron was telling him, I don't even know if the Jets want me back. There were some dark, grim moments in the early weeks of that recovery where he wasn't sure he'd ever play again, or if the Jets really wanted him back because he felt he just let everyone down. So this year, I think there's a great hunger there inside of Aaron. I think he just seems different, like a little more serious about this pursuit. And I actually think, and call me crazy, I think the Jets are going to win the AFC East this year. I think he's going to make at least 14 starts and have a pretty big year, not an MVP year, but a good year. And I think the Jets are going to be a factor. I'm not saying they'll get to the Super Bowl for the first time since January '69, but I think they do have a shot to pull that off. If he ever actually wins one in New York for that Charlie Brown franchise, that is probably, I've been doing this for almost 40 years in New York. I think that'll be the biggest New York sports story of my career.
Yeah. You can't argue it.
Easily.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Ian O'Connor, you're a great guest. We didn't get into any of the Favre stuff. There's so much more in the book that we didn't have an opportunity to cover.
We didn't even talk about Arnie and Jack, which is another great Ian O'Connor book. But we'll do that I'll do that on the golf show this Sunday.
You can always ask Ian to come on to the.
Yeah.
Ian, are you interested in being in the primetime real estate of Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m.? You can be on Hardy's show.
I used to host on Sunday mornings, even earlier than that, so I'll happily do it. Yeah.
So you're aware,
Hardy's day.
You're aware of the rabid audience that is on it, listening to those times.
Very well aware, painfully aware.
Oh well, Ian, I've wanted to have you on for a long time, and I really appreciate it. The new book's called Out of the Darkness: The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers. It's out now, and really appreciate you coming on, and congratulations on the success.
It was my honor. You guys have a big time show, and Fred, I know you're a legend, so thanks very much.
Oh, thank you. You got that right. All right. Well, Ian, now I really like
Come
it.
back anytime. Thanks.
Hey, I'm just glad you didn't ask me about that Belichick column I wrote in 2000.
I'd agree with it.
It's a fun topic.
I don't care for him. So I'm on your side. All right.
Okay.
Ian,
Take care, guys.
Thank you so much. There you go.
How about that? Legend.
Yeah, Ian wrote the column that was that Belichick was like a bad hire or something. But
Well, a lot of people, local writers. There was one local writer who called Bill duplicitous pond scum when he was hired.
Well, listen,
Yes.
he's a charmer. Well, listen, it is interesting that Aaron Rodgers.
Shocking to find out that the author thinks he's not as smart as he thinks he is.
Yeah, that's a dangerous business. That's a dangerous business. That's a really if you want to self-sabotage, that's the character trait that's going to get you to self-sabotage yourself 100 times. The self-sabotage, more than addiction, more than anything, the thing that will get you to self-sabotage is the belief that you are really smart when you're not. Because super smart people know what they know and know what they don't know. And know that they don't know a lot. Because that's part of being, doing the work. Is you realize, a lot of these things can't be answered. They're not all facts. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox beat Houston.
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy. Ian O'Connor was just on. I like him. He knows that I'm a legend. Did you guys hear that, Robin?
Rob is how he referred to me. He referred to you as a legend, and he called me Rob.
What did he say, Dan?
I heard Robin.
I heard Robin, too.
I was like, oh, hey, Robin.
No, he said Rob.
Oh, I thought he said Robin. What did you hear? Well, you didn't hear anything.
No, I heard Rob. I heard Rob.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Okay.
All right, good.
Yep.
I'm glad that he
We'll
said
go with
Rob.
John.
I thought he said Robin, and I thought, oh, he thinks I'm Batman.
I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's why you were a legend.
That's why I'm a legend. Because I solve crime.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, that makes you the Penguin then, Dan.
Good. Thank you.
And that makes you a dork, John. All right.
Gosh.
John's the joke.
Boy, cut me to the
No,
quick
that makes
there,
Yeah, you
Fred.
got that. You take that and
Whoa.
walk.
That makes
take
you,
that and face your wife.
I don't know if I could continue.
That makes you the Jim Carrey Riddler or Poison Ivy or something awful.
Yeah. All right. So, John, you were saying we were talking to Ian O'Connor. Like he likes the Jets to win the AFC East. It's not like a crazy take. They really should, given the situation. Did you know Miami is like 0-6 in bad weather games last year?
No, I didn't.
Well, I heard it.
Does that include the playoff game in Kansas City?
Yeah, like they can't play in weather, which is something. I mean, that is something that they can't.
It is.
Well, I mean, if you're 0-6 in weather, that's not good. I'll have to look at their schedule. I'll do it while you're talking. But if the Jets happen to win the Super Bowl, which they will not, but if they do, what you had a feeling about?
Yeah,
that,
Ian O'Connor was talking about what an amazing thing it would be if Aaron Rodgers came to New York and won a Super Bowl. I know you feel the same way. And that brought me back to 2004 when Curt Schilling specifically agreed to a trade from Arizona to Boston and specifically said, I'm coming here to win a World Series. The comparison isn't exact because Schilling isn't nearly as successful in baseball as Rodgers has been in football, but it's, for lack of a better phrase, a hired gun who has no, connection to the area coming here to get something specific done. And until Schilling went off the rails, he was revered here for a while. I think that the same obviously would be said for Rodgers if he was able to pull this off.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal if he does that. And if you want to know who Miami lost to, they're good teams, but they lost at New York Giants, at Philadelphia, at Kansas City, at Tennessee, and then at the end of the season, they lost 2 in a row. They lost at Baltimore and at Buffalo, and then at Kansas City in the playoffs. So they lost those 3 games in weather.
That Kansas City game was wind chill of what, 30 below, 40 below?
I wouldn't know because it was on the dumb. Whenever they're on if you're on Amazon, everyone should have Amazon Prime because everyone should buy things from Amazon because it's easy. And Amazon Prime's free shipping, and you just get the TV anyway. I assume everyone has Netflix. But when they pop out something like Peacock, now I know Love Island's on Peacock, but when they go, you got to get Peacock for this thing, I don't want to reward them, Jonathan, so I don't reward them.
Okay.
I won't get Peacock for the game. Milo went over to a friend's house to watch it because he said, "Are you going to get Peacock?" And I said, "No." Mm-hmm. I said, "Things are rough around here."
Excuse me, Batman. If I could interrupt here for a moment.
Give me an idea of like the range. Are we talking about coaches, friends, family members? Who did you talk to for this?
All of the above, Robin.
Rob and.
Oh, okay.
All the above, Rob, and I think that
Did he pause?
Give me an idea of like the range. Are we talking about coaches, friends, family members? Who did you talk to for this?
All of the above, Robin.
Well, when you cut it off there, it sounds like Robin, but to me, it sounds like he's saying Rob. And.
When we come back, did Ian O'Connor call Hardy Robin or his real name Rob? How would he know Hardy's real name?
When I referred to you as Toucher and Hardy, I said that our hosts are here, Toucher, Hardy, and John, all 3 of them, and he said, yep.
Did you tell him his name was Rob at any point?
Not at any point.
Ian O'Connor, obviously a fan of mine.
Absolutely.
Probably could tell you where I was born and everything else. Thinks Robin, he thinks I'm Stern. And how he's my
he thinks
Robin.
I'm Stern, and you're Stern, and I'm Robin Quivers. I get it.
All of the above, Robin, and his parents were probably the most critical because they've been estranged.
Yeah, that's a Robin.
Rob and his parents.
Rob and his parents? He says and
all of the above, Robin, and his parents were probably the most critical because they've been estranged.
Yeah, he's a mumbling, stuttering prick. That's probably why he likes you so much.
I like you.
He finds that swingers club.
He finds a kinship with you. Yeah, Robin. I like you, Fred, because you talk the same way I do. That's you. That's my Fred
You talk
imitation.
exactly just like I do. Believe me.
Fred Toucher, ladies and gentlemen.
But you see him deflecting, he can't take it. Too much compliments coming my way, too many insults going his way.
It's just that you have to take the victory lap on them to the point where I feel forced to. I'm playing the role of the audience here.
Fair enough. Do you know? But he did say Robin, and you did deny it. So I mean, it had to be proved.
You hear Robin, I hear Rob, and
one more time.
All of the above, Robin, and his parents were probably the most critical because they've been estranged.
I mean, everyone in there is on your side, Hardy.
Robin, and his parents.
They also went Rob and, considering he wouldn't know your name was Rob, and also that he said and the word after. The facts are on your side.
If he went so far as to look up my real name, why would he then say Robin?
He didn't look up your real name. He wouldn't know your real name.
So why did he call me Robin?
Because Fred is Batman.
Yeah, because it was just, he thought he was talking to Stern because I was so incredible. Maybe he knows some of the things you've said on the air and there's no fan. Who knows? We'll have to have him on again when Hardy's not here next week.
I need to have him on Sunday. Talk about that Hardy and Jack book that came out 15 years ago.
Well, Mike says maybe he thought he was talking to John because a robin is a bird.
Oh, that makes sense too. Maybe he thought he was talking to John. Maybe
Just
it was,
ignore you all together.
You knew Wallach's name. He called him John.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he did know your name was Rob, but then he put Robin because you sounded a little feminine. Who knows? Who knows?
I'm a feminist.
There you go. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Have you been watching the Democratic National Convention?
I watched both conventions. That's some good TV, both of those conventions.
I haven't watched 1 second of either of them, but we'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Up the 5-5 tie and handed the Red Sox a much-needed 6-5 win in Houston last night. Duran had 4 hits in all on the evening for his manager, Alex Cora.
He's the perfect player for this environment. They want him to be players to play fast, be physical, be athletic. You look at him, and he can do all that stuff.
Sox are now 3.5 games behind Kansas City for the final wild card spot in the American League. They wrap up their 7-game road trip in Houston today. They have also released first baseman Dominic Smith and placed top prospect Marcelo Mayer on the 7-day AAA injured list with a hip problem. Patriots had yesterday off, but they'll practice later today in Foxborough as they continue to work their way towards the final exhibition game of the summer. That is Sunday against the Washington Commanders. Former Patriot Juwan Williams is signed with New Orleans after playing a total of 6 games last season for Chicago and Minnesota. And there was a WNBA game last night at TD Garden. Connecticut beat the LA Sparks 69-61. Dejanay Carrington led the Sun with 19 points. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We've got a passion for Boston sports. Get angry. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, what's up? We're Toucher and Hardy. This hour is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Simply go to youtube.com and search 98.5 The Sports Hub. I listen to the Joe Show if I'm in the car or taking a shower when he's on. And Joe said that if you are at home, you can say into your remote, like if you have Apple TV or suppose if your TV has it, and you can say YouTube 98.5 The Sports Hub and Scub Lowy.
Yeah.
Right there on the TV. I know women, as you know, Hardy, that watch the show. They watch the show.
Oh, yeah.
Beefcake.
Yeah.
They look at it for Beefcake.
Right. They with the sound down.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, listen. We have an obligation as broadcasters to tell you what time it is when it comes to the politics. The Republican National Convention was a big hit in Milwaukee, and now somewhere in the world, the Democrats are doing their national convention. Biden looked electric.
Mm-hmm.
No plastic surgery.
No.
He was not a cue card in sight. His eyes not pegged. I wonder if there was skywriting, if they somehow found a font big enough for him to read.
There were no mop handles propping him up from behind.
Well, we're not positive about that. They have that NASA technology we might be unaware of. But, with that comes parody. Now, who are we to parody people, political people? But I will tell you this. People are trying, and this is an example of something, is that Hardy found a guy that I've been searching for years who's the OG. And I want to just play a couple songs to compare them to what the real deal is, okay? So here we are. It's the internet. I gotta get a piece of the pie. I'm going to make a political song. Here's an example of one British person making a Kamala Harris song. Oh no, this is the other one. This is a better one. This is the. Let me play this one first because it's not as good. All right, here we go.
She went on me and she made it, born and raised in Oakland, baby. First black woman, Asian, AG, California. Innocent emotion, she made him social justice legislation. She did it, Joe. She'll always be the one. SVP. When you go to vote for me. Thank you for all the coconut tree.
And then when you See, she says, vote for me, something coconut tree. So you say to yourself, why?
Why?
Why'd you do it?
What are you doing?
Why'd you do it?
You want to know? I'll tell you why. I have the answer. It's the age of technological indulgence. Anybody can make anything. They have the tools at their disposal. They can put it out there. They can record it. They can auto-tune it and give it to the world. It's got a worldwide audience. You're indulging everybody with the technology, and that's what you get because the person could, so they did.
And you know where I saw it? On a site that is made exclusively to mock these people. So congratulations, you made something that's followed by like celebrities. So they that like it. So congratulations, you are being mocked by the very people you worship. Right. And here is another one that was pro Kamala. If you care.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I couldn't tell, but that is pro Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. I apologize. And this one's negative, but it doesn't matter because we're going to get to the OG. Yeah, not bad.
Something's really wrong with our southern border security.
Oh, I think I know where he's going. You know the song, don't you?
I know it's borderline, but I can't figure it out. So it's borderline. Is it something about he's in love with Kamala and she's pushing him away? Is she pushing him over the borderline? By the way, the best Madonna song is Borderline. That reminds me of the Woodbrook Hills Swim Club, where I used to ride my bike as a child.
I would go with Like a Prayer. And the John Wesley Harding cover of it.
Like a Prayer's video, no. Burning crosses.
Offensive. It's the Paris Olympics all over again.
And I don't like the Papa Don't Preach, too, because it's like, what do you want, an abortion?
Well, she's in trouble. Deep.
And where was Captain Lou Albano in that? Yeah. Like Cyndi Lauper. Would it be funny if Papa Don't Preach is his abortion song? And then she goes in and Captain Lou with the rubber bands in his beard is her dad.
And he's doing the bad lip syncing again.
What you gonna do with your life? All right, so anyway,
we got strangers from all over the world coming in illegally.
You know what a stranger is? Just a friend you haven't met yet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Will Rodgers.
Stop playing with the law, finish up the wall.
So anyway, he doesn't like the border. So
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. These are all really thievery because for years I have looked. Hardy and I did not communicate about this. I did not know he was getting this, but I couldn't be more excited. If you recall ever, if you're of a certain age, let's say 40 or under, if you recall ever happening upon PBS, you would see something that was billed as comedy. So you would go, what is this? Is this Richard Pryor? Is this George Carlin? Is this Eddie Murphy? No. Who was it?
His name was Mark Russell, and he was born in 1932, sadly passed away on my birthday, March 30th of 2023. He was, as you described him, Fred, the OG American political satirist and musician. And his shows were events. They were political events. They were comedy events. They were concerts. And it was everything rolled into one. And the diversity of the crowd you would see at these events.
Yeah, everyone from 70 to 90. And from German to French to English of heritage.
So, don't forget about the Irish Americans in there as well.
Yeah, Catholics.
They were all there and gathered around for an equal opportunity ribbing that he would give to both political parties.
And he didn't need a full computer sampling gadget system. It was just a man and a piano.
Give him a baby grand and give him your heart.
And I don't care if you saw this when you were a kid and at 5 years old you went, I don't want to become an adult if this is what entertainment is like. Take this, Washington. Here is an example.
Well, hold on a second. Let's lead into it a little bit.
All right.
Because it wasn't just the music. He did some stand-up, too. There's a lot of talking at these shows. It wasn't just all him at the piano.
Live from Buffalo, where urban renewal includes the replacing of the plastic flamingos in front of City Hall.
Meditation is nothing more
that's sitting in one spot with your hands folded, thinking of nothing. A widespread practice in Washington for years.
Ooh. It was
fire.
I just want you to know it was a different time. These are not our thoughts. This guy, and listen, good on PBS, man. This is when they took chances. This is when, I would donate. I have a bunch of tote bags. I gave them to Adam. But here we are.
Okay.
Here is Russell. What's his name?
Mark Russell.
Mark Russell. I've never been able to find these, and I've searched for 15 years for these things.
If you still have your stocks, you just might regret it. Ivan Boesky sold all of his last month, I'd bet it. The yuppies are broke now, they're Perrier's on credit, but Ron says cheer up, it will pass. A big drop in prices, the Dow Jones has got them. Corporate profits, the market has shot them. The maker of Teflon has reached a new bottom.
Now, when he takes that pause, John, so he's sideways to the audience, right?
Oh, yeah,
he's sideways, his piano. And when he takes that pause, he gives them a knowing smirk.
Right.
Yeah.
Applause break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them. So, Ivan Boesky, you remember him? He did some dirty things on Wall Street back in the 80s.
Yeah, I believe this was a Reagan-era satirical special. And I don't want to mislead people, Fred. It wasn't necessarily a sideways glance because several of these videos that I watched, some of them very, very long, hour-long specials.
Oof. Yeah, that's good stuff.
They're in the round.
Oh.
So again,
just like
ahead
Metallica, another thing that everyone stole from him.
Mm-hmm. But he says cheer up, it will pass.
Round of applause.
Yeah, they're applauding because
the song's over?
Can't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Now, it wasn't...
They're just like, this is a social cue. to clap.
I want to hear another joke.
Clinton had laryngitis last week, and his doctor told him in order to save his voice not to deny anything for 5 days. There's an old saying in my business, you got to know your audience. And by golly, I know a Ross Perot rally when I see one.
I wish you weren't playing these things. We're going to get caught up and people are going to think we're saying it.
But it wasn't just politics. He sometimes would just take an interesting news story and have a song about it as well.
The Challenger blew up. Way off went the teacher who could not get out of.
Krista McAuliffe.
Pearl Harbor was a big tragedy. Did he do anything? Is this about 9/11?
No, it's not. The Challenger and 9/11.
No.
Evan Meekum is our leader. He's Arizona's star. Thanks to him, the nation now knows where we are. From Maine to California, from Seattle to New York, everyone loves Evan, 'cause we're tired of Robert Bork. Thank Evan for who we are. The state whose governor's a TV star. Thank Evan.
Oh, I mean, this guy was on national television.
Multiple, like a lot of specials. He was on TV a lot.
When I was a kid, he was the guy. Oh,
I may have screwed up and not told Mike to put a certain one in there, but that's okay. We have plenty of material. This was just kind of like the intro music to his special.
That was when he was experimenting with the theremin.
I think that was hit. That was a actually collaboration. Him and Al Jorgensen from Ministry. They were doing some techno stuff.
Yeah, they did. He was very into that scene. He was in Skin Yard for a long time. So don't get off the internet trying to be him, because you're never going to do it.
He had a Lorena Bobbitt song, which is
Pop goes the wiener. All around the Bobbin house, the lady chased her husband. She took a knife and cut off his penis. Out went the penis. Andrew Dice Clay stole all the stuff from Hickory Dickory Dock.
No.
This lady was
No.
Jack and Joe went up a hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Yeah,
Just a little loosey goosey.
All right. And your grandparents went to this and paid money. All right, we'll be right back. Fowler, who produces the midday television show over here on NBC Sports Boston that we used to be on, and then they realized that no one was watching it. It's in the morning. It says, Fred Hardy, thank you so much for addressing the Mark Russell. The dude has lived in the corner of my head for probably 28 years. You nailed it, Fred. I saw the guy and former Senator Paul Simon as a child and thought, if this is being adult, I don't want to be one. Glad I wasn't the only one. I felt the same way. I went, this is what adults do for fun. This is... You knew it was counterculture. This was one of the Warhol Velvet Underground shows that they put together that blew so many people's minds. This is from Pat. Fred and Robin. The worst thing that ever happened to music was recording equipment being so affordable. Love the show, but could you guys maybe pepper in an hour or two of classic rock?
Oh.
And that is from Patrick.
Only
if its dude looks like a lady.
I've been been saying it for years. Age of technological indulgence, recording equipment, videos on our phones, everything. It's all makes it very, very accessible, and sometimes you get gold, but 99% of it is, well.
And I don't have a problem with it, but just, take the hit when you get made fun of for it. Don't act incredulous when you're made fun of for it. All right. It's Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub, Red Hot Chili Peppers. All right, that's enough of that. I don't want to play that ever again in my life. So, something came out with the Red Sox Johnny Wall game, and you said Bertrand was talking about it yesterday. I'm aware of this, too. The Red Sox pitching coach had a revolutionary idea. He talked to the staff, and what did he say?
Andrew Bailey basically told the staff, why don't we stop throwing fastballs,
four-seam
fastballs, and throw more sliders and curves, and it'll catch everyone off balance. It's a better way to attack things. And the first 2 months of the season, Tanner Houck was lights out, Cutter Crawford was lights out. Everybody was pitching very well, but as Jen points out in a column for The Athletic, people started catching on, and she quoted one hitting coach as saying, the entire time we played the Red Sox, we had all of our hitters just sit on the slider. And that's what's happened. We talked about the ERA in the first hour of the show. The ERA for the Red Sox since the All-Star break is far and away the worst in baseball. So they have not adjusted back. They're still apparently not throwing enough fastballs.
Isn't Bayo, his whole thing, his velocity?
He can throw 96, 97.
So you're telling a kid who can throw 96, 97 not to throw 96, 97?
Yeah. Use it, pitch backwards. Use it as your out pitch instead of leading with it.
That is an interesting strategy.
Yeah.
And so now that it's come back to bite them, and they have not been able to adjust back.
Apparently not, no.
But you've been encouraged by Bayo in his recent performances?
Yes. Yeah, if this, and we were talking about all the young kids that are going to get brought up, none of them are pitchers. So they're depending a lot on this kid, not just to be good, but to be the anchor of the staff with Houck moving forward.
Yeah.
So his last 2 or 3 outings have been very encouraging.
Yeah, because we were talking about it because they just brought 4 kids up to AAA, which means that they're going to be on the Major League roster at least next year. A couple of them might even come up this year, I'd imagine.
Yes.
If they've moved into AAA. Here's the deal. So that means that at least 3 of them are on the Major League roster next year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
If you've moved them up to AAA.
You're going to give all of them ample opportunity next spring to make the big league club.
Now, it could be a Jordan Walker situation where you bring them up and then you have to keep putting them down. They even did it with Jackson Holliday in Baltimore. I mean, they brought him up and had to put him down again. But ultimately, they're going to be playing on the Major League roster next year at some point. It might be up and down. Hopefully it's not, but whatever. They will experience big league baseball next year. And the whole time with the Red Sox in the GM situation, everyone's been like, they're trying to mimic Tampa Bay. They're trying to mimic Tampa Bay. Look at what they're doing. It's like Tampa Bay. And, I've defended the Red Sox and what they've been doing a lot. But one thing that I will not stand for is them saying that they are like Tampa Bay. No, they should be Baltimore. And Baltimore is a small market, but Baltimore is loaded, unbelievably loaded, even though, now listen, like you said, I think Jackson Holiday was the number 1 overall pick. The Rushman,
Adley Rutschman.
Rushman, the catcher, was the number 1 overall pick. I know that. So, they had the picks, but they have a tremendous amount of young talent. And what did they do at the deadline?
They traded. They acquired arms. On the offseason, they got themselves an ace, which is what they needed in Corbin Burns. And I want to say it was Kennedy or maybe even Werner, in a rare moment of lucidity, said, you know what? When the time comes, we'll spend.
Yes.
And the time is not here yet.
No, but if you're bringing up those kids, you got to improve your staff in the offseason. And then you have your pieces. So say 4 of them, say 2 of them become good major leaguers. Then you're set with Devers. You're set with those kids. You got Duran under control.
Don Rafael is the other guy.
Yeah. But so you have But I'm just saying, name two positional players come up and they succeed.
Yep.
And you just said that Mike was saying that a guy in Worcester just came up yesterday.
Campbell had his first hit. Yes.
In Worcester yesterday. So look, say by some miracle, so say let's put him in the mix too. There's 5 kids, and say 3 of them become everyday major leaguers. That would be fantastic. Now you have those guys under control. You have Duran under control. I know you paid Devers, but that contract's getting older and getting more affordable as time goes by. Then you have to start to add, which I have every confidence they will.
This was nothing. Originally, when they put this roster together, they never expected to contend for anything. This was a fact-finding year. You had to figure out which players you want to build around. Duran, obviously, is having an amazing season. And, he had 4 more hits last night. You have Devers. You have Ceddanne Rafaela. You got young guys that can play.
And in the macro, they have been more competitive. They have played. I mean, I'm going to sound like Cora here, but they have elements in their game, even in the losses, where it's better than the losses they were taking at this time last year.
Well, you know why winning this year helped is it solidified Cora as your manager. The wheels didn't fall off the franchise. If they would have had a terrible year again, or if they would have, they're not probably not going to make the playoffs. They're not as good as Houston. They're going to lose.
Just they don't have the pitching.
They don't have the pitching.
Not even close.
No, and so. But if this year was a dumpster fire, then you lose Cora, then everything's up, then everyone's freaking out, and then you don't have any base of anything. The success of this season, which is kind of how you have to take baseball, the success of this season was you solidified Cora, you found out Duran was a guy that's going to be you want on your team for a long time. The kids that you have in the minors are going to be up next year.
You add him to Casas at first base. You add him to Rafaela. You add him to. You have 3 or 4 young guys under the age of 26 in your lineup. You bring up these 4 kids. Trade whatever redundancy you have in the system for pitching, and maybe you have something.
Right, and then that means that you have money to spend too.
Exactly. Remember I told you the goal is to get these kids up here, sign them to long-term contracts. They did that with a couple of these guys. So, yes, then you will have the budget available to pay $35 million a season for an ace.
Now, an ace... Would you make a run at Juan Soto, who will not sign with the Yankees because Boris is his manager during this season? Would you make a run at Soto? I believe he's 25 years old right now.
Soto is top 2-3 hitter on the planet.
Yeah, Soto's one of the top 3 players in base. He's probably the 3rd best player in baseball. Mookie Betts may be 3rd.
I think I would love to have him on this roster, but if you're asking me if I'm a member of the Red Sox, I don't think they're going to play. I don't think they're going to chase him. I think it's too soon.
I just think it's amazing if Soto has been on 3 teams. He's 25. He's been on 3 teams. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's already been on 3 teams. Maybe going on to his 4th.
Yeah.
But just to be able to bust up that combination of Soto and Judge, because those guys are diabolical right now. They had another back-to-back home runs last night.
Yeah.
They're just...
You should hear Yankee fans, though. They're really flipping out, and they keep cajoling the host to tell them that Soto will sign with the Yankees this season. And they keep being told, like, it's not Boris. Like, Boris won't do it. Boris is going to make him go to free agency.
Think about what Ohtani just got last year. Ohtani just got $70 million a year last year, regardless of how it's structured.
Well, it's all structured cheating.
But at the same time, if Ohtani gets $70 million, how much is Soto going to get? Not as much as that, but over 50, easy.
Oh, he'll make $60 million a year.
I don't think the Red Sox are not going to spend that. Not a chance.
Well, that's how much it costs to get a 25-year-old Hall of Famer. It'll be 26, but a 26-year-old Hall of Famer. I mean, you don't think Soto's got 9 more years in him?
Easily 9 more years in him.
I mean, it's amazing to me that all these franchises. I mean, I know that the Padres traded for him, and then the Yankees got him, but it's amazing that he's already been on this many franchises. A guy that good, he's insane. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer if he stays healthy. There's no question about it.
Is that what they're looking for his next deal? Do they want the 9-10-year deal, or would they end up like in a 5-7 situation?
I would imagine it would be. I would imagine he'd want a second crack at free agency.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I think that he would want $60 million a year for 5 years, and then turn around when he's 30 and get another deal. It would be the plan. Apparently, he likes New York.
Good plan.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
I like that plan.
Yeah,
be the
best. Be the best in baseball, and that's all you need to do is be the best, and then you'll get it.
The best in the world at something, and the money will come.
Well, not at anything. I mean, the best in the world at one of these things a lot of people care about. You know, you'll do it. You're the best.
I know. Paul Newman said otherwise in The Color of Money. If you're the best at something, money can be arranged. Money comes relatively easily.
He was an old loser who was playing by himself at the end in that hotel in Atlantic City.
Yeah, but he played Vince and his girlfriend early on. They didn't know they were being played, but they were.
You know who I didn't know was really hot when I was a kid? And then when I watched The Color of Money a couple years ago,
Forrest
I realized,
Whitaker?
Yes. I always thought there was something about him in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, the woman in Color of Money.
Mary Elizabeth
Master Antonio. Is she
She's in Fast Times?
No, but Forrest Whitaker is.
You brought up Forrest Whitaker. That's what led us to Fast Times.
Jennifer Jason Leigh?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Phoebe Cates.
This has been...
Judge Reinhold? Nicolas Cage? Sean Penn?
Nicolas Cage doesn't count. I don't even think he had a line in that movie. He just stood at the burger place. Try to show my kids Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They couldn't get through the opening montage.
Oh, to We Got the Beat, I believe.
It's We Got the Beat, and it's showing them all, and they can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox won in Houston last night, 6-5. They're 3.5 games out of a playoff spot. Big night for Jarren Duran. 4 hits to lead the offense, including the tie-breaking homer in the 8th inning. Sox are 3-3 on a 7-game road trip that ends this afternoon in Houston. Cooper Criswell will oppose Justin Verlander. Red Sox have released Dominic Smith shortly after designating him for assignment, and top prospect Marcelo Mayer hasn't played a game yet in Worcester. Yesterday, he was placed on the 7-day injured list with a sore hip. Patriots will be back at practice today after a day off yesterday. Their final preseason game is on the road Sunday night against the Washington Commanders. And former Patriots defensive back Jawan Williams is signed with New Orleans after spending last season splitting his time between Chicago and Minnesota. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Vision. Go where Gerard Mayo went for his LASIK surgery and visit the eye pros at Boston Vision. Book a free evaluation today at bostonvision.com because your best vision is Boston Vision. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
Let's talk turkey, shall we?
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, in the sports industry, that's what you say.
Got to talk.
everybody. We're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. Hardy, we heard from Tua Tagovailoa from the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel is someone we should all love. He's legitimately funny. Can you think of a coach, an NFL coach, let's just go NFL, that's legitimately funny? You can think of a lot of people that you wouldn't want to spend any time with. That I would have no desire to spend 10 minutes with Bill Belichick.
I was going to say a former coach, but I was told for years that Bill is wickedly funny, and you just don't know him. And it would come through in press conferences sometimes. And I got to tell you, Fred, the entire room would bust up like they were watching Eddie Murphy Delirious when Bill would favor them with a joke.
Yeah.
But I was told that was just the tip of the iceberg.
When you're being whipped for 3 hours at a time and then a nice cool breeze blows and it feels good on your wounds. It's almost orgasmic.
That's a wonderful metaphor. I'm not kidding. That is perfect.
And if you want to, I just made it up. Thank you.
Yeah,
and if you
poetic.
and if you want to see just how charming Bill Belichick is, I take you to any radio interview he did it when he was a coach. Well, he didn't want to say anything when he was a coach. I heard someone on the station say that Bill had given some information about a player and felt that it had turned around and they had been used against him, so he was never going to do that again. But now listen to him on Pat McAfee, because they replay it all the time. His appearances, they're awful. He's and I'm not. This is not me being a dick or being overly critical. Like, Bill Belichick's terrible on Pat McAfee because you know why? He's an ass with no personality. That's why. And so anyway, most of these football coaches I wouldn't care to spend time with. I mean, Bear Bryant seems like a pretty good guy. The way he banged the secretary, she seemed to like him when she would call him the Paul Feinbaum. But nonetheless.
Woody Hayes.
Mike McDaniel.
Woody Hayes was funny.
Oh, if he would have hit me with a helmet, I just when
he only clotheslined one guy, and it was kind of Three Stooges like. There's nothing wrong with that.
When Woody Hayes went after a player, he went after a player, and they had to fire him.
Yeah,
finally
punched a kid in the face on the field. Yes.
Yeah, how that guy didn't get his ass kicked, how one of these huge Ohio State maniac football players didn't snap and break his neck, is really something that tells you maybe culture has improved. Because I would defy Woody Hayes at 65 years old, 5'5", going and screaming and pointing and poking a guy in the chest, just to see if maybe the 55th, 60th kid on the roster. I'm not talking about like Archie Griffith, but maybe like this because he's got something to lose. You start poking the 60th kid in the roster, him not just laying back and killing you. That's what I would like to see.
Well, it would have been one of the Clemson players who had gone after him.
Yeah, Bobby Knight was big, at least. Bobby Knight was a hulking individual, so I could see. Plus, I could see Bobby Knight like digging his thumbs into your eyes and like getting into your skull.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Mike McDaniel. I like this new wave of coaching, and I do think it's the future. Mike McDaniel's legitimately funny and personable. He's best friends with Dan Soder, who is a great comic. Which I keep mentioning that because I think it's cool. Like, they grew up together and they share that same kind of humor. And now, look at, he was a ball boy for Denver, and now he's a head coach of Miami Dolphins. So, anyway, Tua said this when he was talking to Dan Le Batard about his relationship with his old coach, Brian Flores.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, the good or the bad, and you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. you're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it was, I mean, it's basically been, 2 years of training that out of not just me, but, a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year.
And if you think it's just Tua saying this, Jeff Darlington has come on and said, did anyone read my report on Brian Flores? Apparently, I don't recall it. But Jeff Darlington had text messages that Flores had sent Tua and other players, and they were ones that he sent to that Flores sent Tua saying, don't screw this up. Don't blow this. Like he had reported that players on that team couldn't stand Brian Flores, which isn't a generational issue, as I've heard some people state. It's a fact of life. If you are managing people, they have to at least respect you, and you have to get good results from them. And if the way that you're managing them is not succeeding, that's your fault. And I got news for you. If you're a head coach in 2024 and don't have a good relationship with your quarterback, you don't have to. If you're a defensive coach, I don't even think you have to deal with the quarterback. I mean, have your offensive staff deal with them. What are you talking to him all the time for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in all those meetings. Let them be. I'm not saying you have to be best friends, but the days of and Flores doesn't have the rings, and Patricia tried to do the same crap. The guy that the Spygate guy that Parcells hates for the Jets, Mangini tried to do that. My friend's name is Mangin. Mangini tried to do the same thing.
Jose Mangin?
Who?
The Metal Ambassador, Jose Mangin.
I don't know who that is.
It's the second time I brought him up. You should know by now. He is royalty. I bet your boy Eddie Trunk knows who he is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I listened to Eddie Trunk yesterday. He had a man named Saul Horkovitz on. He spent an hour with him, and the whole interview I didn't know who he was talking to. He never explained. He would just be like, on the track, Dark Moon, man, you shredded. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what bands? What band is this guy? And what was it like? You were huge in Germany, man. That had to be cool.
Yeah,
we would tour there. And, Phil, our bass player, was really good at bass. Like, Eddie, no, I don't know. It doesn't say on the screen.
Reset, Eddie. Reset.
Yeah, please reset, Eddie. Jesus Christ, for the love of God.
But with the Flores thing, Fred, you and I have talked about this. Like, sometimes it's immediately after, sometimes it's hours later. You think back on something you said on the air. And I thought this last night because I had heard some other hosts essentially saying what we had said about Flores, which is, God, Tua killed him. And it's like, you can't do that if you're Flores. And I thought, you know what? We're just hearing one side of it. Maybe Tua, maybe I should have said this. Well, that's how Tua took it. Maybe Tua's being a bit of a baby about this. Maybe it didn't go down like this at all. And it wasn't until I heard Brian Flores' rebuttal about it that said, oh, no, I think we're probably spot on in not necessarily siding with Tua, but being critical of Brian Flores because what he has to say here isn't much of a defense.
I'm human, that hit me in a way that, I wouldn't say it was, positive for me. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? That's really where I'm at from that standpoint. Do I feel like, that's me? No. But, how can I grow from that situation and create a world where that's not the case that anyone says that about Brian Flores?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, he says I'm human, so obviously it upset me, which I think is a vulnerable thing to say.
I would have felt badly though about all the stuff we had said about Flores yesterday and how he's doing around. He can't do that. If he had come out and said, "Look, I did what a coach should do with Tua," but for him to say that. I was, essentially standing over his bed every morning telling him that he sucked. That's wrong. I propped that kid up all the time. I did everything I could to make him feel. No, instead what Flores says is like, yeah, that hurt to hear that.
But if I'm in the NFL and I'm, I know Flores has got a job, but if I'm in the NFL and I'm thinking about hiring Brian Flores, I like what he said there a lot better than what you just said. If he had just denied it and put his head in the sand, I think him showing vulnerability and going, look, first of all, I respect him as a hard-on football coach admitting something hurt his feelings. That's one thing. And second is, like, I don't want to be looked upon like that. I mean, that's a positive, too. I mean, if you believe people can change, and if I can change, you can change.
Yeah.
Everybody can.
But seriously, if you believe people can change, and if you don't, your life is going to be miserable because if you live long enough, you're going to change several times. But if you do believe people can change, and I do, then that would be reassuring to me if I was someone looking to get into the business of Brian Flores.
The translator in the ring is my favorite moment during that whole speech because he says, I didn't like yous, and I guess yous didn't like, or yous didn't like me, I guess yous didn't like me too much either. And as the translator is saying that line, talking about the common, the disliking of each other, he kind of hangs his head in shame because he realizes it's true. Yeah, we weren't liked, and we didn't like him either.
It was good that the Soviets realized they were wrong.
Yeah. Well, they were. You can't be doing that.
According to history or his story that we learned, the propaganda in schools. I got some literature I can show you afterwards about a little party you might like. Everyone gets an equal share, my friend. Workers of the world unite.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a Chinese restaurant that's been feeding me and my family for many, many years.
I just went down that rabbit hole with the JFK podcast, and it was a lot of communist talk, a lot of communist sympathizing back and forth. Cuba, Castro, the mob. I didn't pay much attention to it for most of my life, and now I'm convinced. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Look, who killed Kennedy?
Yeah, there were three groups, all with very good reason to want him out. And they worked together to get it done with nobody really knowing what the other one was exactly doing.
So the Italian mob worked with Cuba? Is the belief?
And the CIA.
Oh? Why the CIA want him out?
Well, the mob wanted him out.
Yeah, I know the mob because of Bobby, right?
Because of Bobby and because of their casinos in Cuba.
Okay, very good.
Like the whole Godfather 2 thing.
Yeah.
Cuba wanted him out because,
of course, because
yeah, and the CIA because he thought that JFK was going down this road of appeasement with Russia that was ultimately going to be their doom. Not appeasement, but peace. They wanted peace, and the whole CIA thing is like, you're getting played. It's a whole double blind situation here, and nothing is as they seem, and you're cozying up with the Soviets, and you can't trust them. And JFK was like full on, no, we need to stop this escalation. We need to.
So he had no support after handling the Bay of Pigs. He handled that extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
I mean, we could not be here.
Which was already set in motion. It wasn't even him. He just gave the okay after it was already planned. But he took the fall for it.
Yeah, but he handled that whole Cuba thing well, though. I'm not kidding.
The Bay of Pigs?
Not the Bay of Pigs, but there was we were at a very tenuous point with Cuba, and he handled it.
The CIA did not like giving up the base in Turkey. They thought this whole idea of making deals and having agreements with the Russians was going to be their nuclear undoing, and he had to go. Cuba said, "You got to go." The mob said, "You got to go." They all wanted him out. So
after the Bay of Pigs, there was the Cuban Missile Crisis that he handled, though, right? We got a break, but then we're getting way down rabbit hole. But my understanding was Kennedy handled that. It was a tenuous situation that was handled. The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't result in World War III, but right. the fact is they had to make a deal with right or wrong. Most people wanted to bomb Cuba.
Right.
That's what they wanted to do. Most of his advisors and the CIA and the military people, that's what they wanted.
And now think back, there'd be no Pitbull. And so is that really what you wanted to reap?
Yeah.
All right.
Anytime you can bring it back to Pitbull, that's cool.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Crown Fair Tire Studio. 15 years of the most passionate sports fans in America.
Sports is crazy here. I wouldn't want to do it in any other city.
Thank you, Boston, for making us your home for sports for the past 15 years. WBZFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox are now 3-3 on their road trip after outlasting the Astros in Houston 6-5 last night. Jarren Duran had 4 hits, and that includes a tie-breaking homer in the top of the 8th inning. Then Alex Cora saw Kenley Jansen shut the door in the 9th after an off evening 2 nights before.
He got the save, took off his hat, pitch come to Tech, move on. He'll be down tomorrow. He doesn't live in the past. He doesn't live in the future. He stays in the present. And he knew that probably today he was going to get a chance to save the game, and he did a good job.
Kansas City had their 5-game winning streak snapped last night, so the deficit now 3.5 games to the Royals for the final wild card spot. Cooper Criswell will face the Astros in the finale of this road trip this afternoon. Sox have also released Dominic Smith 4 days after designated him for assignment. Top prospect Marcelo Mayer placed on the 7-day injured list with a sore hip. Patriots will be back at practice later today. They had a day off yesterday. They'll play their 3rd and final preseason game on the road this Sunday night against the Washington Commanders. Former Patriots defensive back Jawan Williams is signed with New Orleans, and at TD Garden last night, a sellout crowd for a WNBA game as the Connecticut Sun beat the LA Sparks 69-61. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road, because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Tuncher and Hardy. Guess what? We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Oh, God, watch us on YouTube, for the love of God.
How many people you think? 200, 300?
They can get up to 1,000.
Okay.
I had these people attacking my looks, and they were saying you're hiding behind the microphone, which is, I wish they knew the budgets of radio stations if they thought that I went into someone and I said, let me be here while you set up these YouTube cameras
and lights and everything.
Here's how I want it positioned, ladies and gentlemen. Here, let's go through this. Let's do a run through. Now, I'll go in the other room and watch. You sit in my chair, and I'll watch in another room the monitor and see where I want this camera. One day the cameras were in here, and then that was what it was. Is as far as I can take you.
Did they have a cinematographer or a DP, a director of photography, setting them up? No, it was Nicholas.
Yeah. Nick came in here, made the sign of the U from Miami. All right, Hardy, stay center frame. That was it.
But if Nicholas comes up to you in a park with a camera, he's not taking art pictures.
Oh, no, that's something else.
That's something else entirely. All right, so...
But you can let him. You can let him do it.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's not going to hurt you. But here's the deal. The Democratic National Convention is going on. Have you been watching it? Are you deep in Democratic National Convention coverage? I have not been watching it.
I've watched parts of the DNC the last 2 nights, and I watched parts of the RNC or whatever it was called. Every night it was on.
They're never going to top Chicago. What was it, in 68? That was a good one.
That was a party.
That was a party. Now, we got kicked out of the jams by the MC5, a famous rendition of it. All right, so what's going on, Hardy? What goes on? They introduced the states at 50. Is it 50? Does it include territories? What's going on?
Well, what it is, Fred, it's a roll call, and this is, and it did include Puerto Rico and Guam.
Oh, of course, good.
I think there's a third one, too. Isn't there a third U.S. territory?
Now you're asking questions that we can't answer.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There might even be a fourth. Another
They
one
don't
in the
let me in
Pacific
there on the
somewhere?
account of
Puerto
all
Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Guam.
They don't let me on
Just
those
those three?
Virgin
Those
Islands.
it?
I have absolutely no idea.
They don't let me on those Virgin Islands. You know why? They wouldn't be virgin very long.
Hey.
The swordsman. All right, very good.
So they do roll call, and they know what's going to happen. Vice President Harris is going to receive the nomination to run for president and all that stuff. But still, this is where they make it official. And every state gets to step forward, deliver a little speech. But, you know, what fun is that? You need to have some music. So each state got to pick up their walk-up music.
How long did this go on for? 4 hours?
I wasn't sitting and watching it. It's on in the background while I'm Freddie can't sit still in my house.
Yeah.
I cannot sit still. I'm always moving around.
This seems like a very long affair.
Yeah,
Introducing 53 states and territories, all with a walk-up song.
Both these conventions, they go on for, days and days and hours
That'd
every
be like
night.
at the beginning of every football game going, ladies and gentlemen, your entire New England Patriots roster at backup at gunner.
All 53. Here we go.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's
Here are
all
the people in the
53.
practice squad.
Well, no, you wouldn't have to include them. Come on, Walt, get with it.
Now,
Go ahead.
some of these states, I mean, we could guess all day and never come up with, the right answer. California steps up there and they end up
Play
going.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, any song.
Yeah, right. Or you could go
Played
with
Under the Bridge,
which they did the next episode with Dre, Snoop Dogg, California Love, Tupac, and Dre.
They did?
Yes.
Huh. I didn't see that coming.
What? I didn't see that coming.
No,
but from Tupac, who is incredible talent, bit of a controversial career. He has that diss song that is just I'm gonna kill all of you. It's whoever.
Well, you're taking it out of context, I feel, Fred.
No, the first line of it is, "Hey Biggie, I effed your wife." Is the first line of it.
Did he though?
Well, he's claiming it.
Okay, well maybe he did. So truth telling is now a crime.
I don't know. There's someone somewhere that made a off-color joke on Twitter that hasn't worked in 5 years. That's probably going, what the hell's going on?
But what I'm saying for California, it could be any number of artists.
There's a couple that are from there.
Okay, but
Ladies and gentlemen, we're Toucher and Hardy, 98.5, the Sports Hub. Red Hot Chili Peppers. All right, so they go and they play Felons.
909.
Hey, everybody, it's 909 on the good side of Wednesday. Hump Day, taking you home. It's Toucher and Hardy. I used to talk that thing up 20 years ago. All right, here we go.
So see if you can guess some of these. I think there are a few you maybe won't get the band right away. But
In
if
fairness,
you think about
I
a
watched
song,
all of this.
All right. State of Idaho.
Oh.
You got to come up with a song having to do with Idaho. What do you come up with?
Are you joking?
No.
Is there something that should be obvious?
One song that I can think of has to do with Idaho.
My Own Private Idaho? Okay.
This was played last night at the DMC.
Hey, I wouldn't be welcome in your state because you don't like gays. You don't allow abortions even when women are dying, which is true. They have to fly them out of the hospital and get them to another state. Can you imagine being a woman? And it's like, you can't get that out of you. Well, I'm going to die.
That's right.
No. But it's in me. No. That's absolutely true, by the way. That Idaho is a place where emergency rooms are having to get women on planes.
Send them to
that are
Spokane
dying
and do it that way?
to whatever neighboring state allows abortions in the case of you're going to die. That's very true, by the way. Go ahead.
State of Kansas used what band to introduce themselves last night?
It would be the band Kansas. I don't know a song by them. You could have told me this is Blue Oyster Cult. I wouldn't have known. This could be any collection of garbage.
This is the song by this band, right?
I would assume so.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, Kansas, Blue Oyster Cult. I mean,
where's Blue Oyster Cult from? Maybe we get them later. In this
they might
bit.
be from Europe. Don't fear the Reaper.
Whew, now you're going to make me check.
Let John do it while you're doing
go
something
ahead,
else.
you do that.
Yeah, but by the time he gets it, we'll be into the next segment, and I already have the answer.
The secret to the show is let John do the research.
Long Island.
There you go.
No?
Massachusetts. What song did they use to represent Massachusetts?
Well, they use the Dropkicks, of course.
Why don't they use the Modern Lovers? No, I'm serious.
Why don't they use Robbie Road Steamer?
They really should.
They should. Michigan is a good one because there are a few good rock and roll acts in there. You've got all of Motown that you could probably use.
I would imagine they'd play known Democrat Ted Nugent, Wang Dang Sweet Poontang.
Oh, please tell me it's Kiss. Please tell me it's Kiss.
Not.
Oh, damn it.
Think back to what California did.
No, I know what it's going to be.
What was it?
I know exactly what it's going to be because I've been to a Lions game in the last 5 years.
All right, name the song then too, smart ass.
It's Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Well done.
It's the one that doesn't have a lot of swears. It isn't about killing his ex-wife.
Go with him, Haley.
Should have used Kiss. Should have used Kiss.
Adam 12 says, I've been hired for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Got
nice.
a job waiting for me the way I talked up Danny California.
That's right. Hired for 2 weeks.
Adam 12 saying, you got a job for 2 weeks. I've talked up Danny California that well. All right, go ahead. You keep testing me. I'm doing great. I haven't gotten one wrong except Kansas.
Minnesota.
I said feeling Minnesota. Oh, no. Oh, Minnesota. Okay. The Hold Steady. No, they are going to... Husker Du. The Replacements. Soul Asylum. Lifter Puller.
Jeez.
Prince?
Yeah. Well, I can do that better. Hold on, let's try this again. There we go.
Well done.
That was fun.
All right, very good.
They
What
used
else?
that and 1999.
Okay.
Okay, now here's a couple that don't have anything to do with the state at all. So instead, I'll give you the song, and you
Arkansas is just David Allen Coe. You name it.
Actually, what did Arkansas use? I didn't even know about. Oh, they
The
used
theme to Birth of a Nation.
No. They used Fleetwood Mac, Don't Stop.
Yeah,
which
sure.
is what Clinton used for his campaign rally, so
Yes,
maybe it does
that
make
is
sense.
absolutely
That was his inauguration. I remember that.
Yeah, so I guess it does, in a way, make sense. Yeah.
We used Firework by Katy Perry. It's referred to by some as a flyover state.
Well, then,
Plains.
flyover state is
Midwest.
Is 45 states.
Colorado?
No.
Further east?
No. It's not going to. It's going to be a place
Adjacent to Colorado. It shares a border with Colorado.
Montana. I don't even know what that does.
Utah?
No,
Utah has got to be Donnie and Marie.
Oh,
for some reason, Nebraska.
Yeah, what else are they going to do?
I don't.
They could play 311.
311 or Matthew Sweet.
Oh, I didn't know Matthew Sweet was from Nebraska.
He's from Lincoln.
Because he hangs around Atlanta like nobody's business.
Yep. Someone mentioned Montana. Montana used cover song. The original artist is the Guess Who. But they used the cover version by...
I have no idea.
Lenny Kravitz.
We played that a time or two. Did West Virginia play Almost Heaven? West Virginia, Blue Ridge Men, and San Antonio River.
They did indeed. Take Me Home, John.
Oh boy, you think you're sick of shipping up to Boston. Imagine if you're from West Virginia.
I just like
A, you have 3 eyes, and B, you got 4 fingers in each hand, and then you got to listen to that all the time.
I like the fact that Montana used American Woman because it gives us an excuse to hear.
Oh. Cartesian woman. Yeah. We like the wiggles attached to it.
Have you seen any footage of Joe Rogan's stand-up special that was live on Netflix?
I heard it did not go well.
He looks really weird. like whatever he's taking is got a Barry Bonds situation happening with his head, where his head is growing. Like, I understand for his age, he's in incredible shape and like super muscular, but there are other side effects that are happening that are unpleasant. Like it's
all those ice baths.
Oh yeah, sure. Which have been proven to be so medically have so many benefits in real life.
Tennessee, home of Dolly Parton, used what Dolly Parton song last night to introduce
Islands in the Stream?
That is incorrect. Because then you mix in Kenny
Jolene?
Rogers. That would have been a good one.
The theme to MASH.
Well, somebody, of course, had to use The Boss last night.
Oh, that's New Jersey. That's easy.
Yeah,
Very good. I wish one of
John
these...
Bon Jovi's just waiting for him to die. He's like, when are you going to die so we can take over?
When are one of these political people going to listen to the lyrics to Born in the USA and realize we shouldn't be playing this song at a political rally for a candidate in the USA?
Yes.
But you know what was shocking is Washington, D.C., or Maryland actually, did pay to come by the Bad Brains. It was a big situation there. They were very excited. You don't have that?
No, I don't have that.
They didn't play that on BOS? Maybe that's why it's not a station anymore.
Finally, Vermont used somebody who we just were talking about because he just played Fenway Park, and
It's someone horrible with horrible people living there, and everyone's horrible. I have no idea who.
Oh, this is
we just talked about him.
Noah somebody, right?
I think he might have had a little influence by Bob Dylan. I'm going on a limb there and saying he's just figuring people have never heard Bob Dylan.
I think you're out of line.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this. I'll never set foot in Vermont. How about that? That I promise you.
Oh, they're going to be disappointed to hear that.
You think? Because that's the dream. Well, now I just got... You don't have to play that anymore because now I can just, whenever I want, just go.
If you still have your stocks, you just might regret it. Ivan Boesky sold all of his last month. I'd bet it.
See, Ivan Boesky got us in trouble. Insider trading and the like. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with your wonderful emails.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. And you can email us, JON, no H, at 985thesportshub.com, Hardy at 985thesportshub.com, or you can email me, Toucher at 985thesportshub.com. See Nicholas's good video as he made one where he puts sunglasses on RKK. You can see that at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram, at Fred Toucher on Instagram. Follow. I'm learning a lot about being online, and they say to build up your social media following, beg people to follow you. So that's what I'm doing. And at Hardy 98.5. Going through the email, Mitchell says, Crash. Loved what I heard from Crash yesterday. Made me a fan of him. I've been a listener since COVID. You should bring him in for the show full time. Big fan of the show. And then so on. He several compliments. Mitch, thank you so much. Yes, Crash. I'm looking to bring back on a weekly basis for a bit that the audience will participate in. That is what I'm looking for. We talked to the great Ian O'Connor, who knew who he was talking to when it came to me, saying that I was a legend. Thank you, Ian O'Connor. He wrote a book about, he said this, as a matter of fact, at one point.
All of the above, Robin, and his parents were probably the most critical because they've been estranged.
Yeah, he called Hardy Robin.
Yeah, he said Rob and.
And you might want to pull when he called me a legend. James says, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, and I said there was a term, I always forget it, the term like for Schilling and Rodgers, like guys.
Is it the sophomore problem?
That I know that's one of them, but it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. James says, the Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias that causes people to overestimate their knowledge or abilities in a specific area relative to their peers or objective criteria. This can happen when someone lacks the knowledge or skill to recognize the complexity of a task, leading them to believe it's easier than it actually is. People with Dunning-Kruger effect may also be unaware of their limitations and fail to recognize their own mistakes, which sounds like heaven. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think I know someone with personally with the Dunning-Kruger effect, just to always think you're right and never think you're wrong.
Great place to live in. Oh,
despite
my God,
all evidence, it's got to be like the greatest thing to have.
Is it me?
No.
Okay.
No, if it was you, I'd be making fun of you consistently for it. Working with someone with it would be great. I would just constantly be going, I just egg you on and just have you say dumber and dumber stuff. Because it is true, the smartest people I know that there is, not only do they not know, but there's so much that cannot be known. You know, we all think we're so smart, but there's so much in the universe that we cannot know. We will never know. Human will never know. We are too limited. You understand? Go ahead, John. You look like you're chomping at the bit.
Oh, there's an email to all three of us. All of us got it. Waldick, I hate you for making me defend Kurt Schilling, but where did you get the idea that Rodgers has been more successful? We were talking, my comparison was Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl in New York with the Jets would be the same as Schilling coming here and winning one in 2004. Rodgers won one Super Bowl, Schilling won 3 World Series, and Rodgers choked with superior teams every other time. My point, I believe, and maybe I didn't articulate it well enough, is that when they came to their different place, Rodgers had been more successful than Schilling had been.
Was Schilling not how it turned out to be, was Schilling penciled in to be the number one starter for the Red Sox?
They had Pedro here. It was 1 and 1A, basically.
So I would give the nod to Aaron Rodgers, too. Is that, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, and the quarterback is
Schilling was co-World Series MVP in 2001.
Right.
But Rodgers,
Arizona.
Yeah, with Arizona.
I told you, I went to a Braves game one time. They were free, basically. It was $1 to get in, and you got it. The bar I worked at had a bus that would take you with free beer on it. And I went to a game. You go up to the Tomahawk bar that used to be in the right center, and you knew the bartenders because they were off the clock bartenders. We were all bartenders. And I get a beer. It's Schilling Maddox. Before I finish that 20-ounce beer, 16-ounce beer, the game was over. I believe it was I think we looked it up. It was an hour and 25-minute game.
I went to Maddox's 200th career win, whatever. I was down visiting friends. 2 hours and 5 minutes. And Atlanta scored like 7 runs.
And by the way, I don't even think that anyone would sign Maddox now. With his lack of velocity, the way that he pitched, I don't think Maddox would get a shot. If he went and they did all his measurables.
No, there's no one like Greg Maddux in the majors right now.
He pitched with control and precise location, which is more valuable than velocity, and it's just not. They'll get back to it.
Glavin's the same way.
Yeah, Glavin had a livelier arm, I believe, but Maddox didn't throw hard.
No, Maddox was methodical.
Yeah,
surgical.
And he looked like he could erupt at any moment. He looked like a dangerous man. Every girl that likes a bad boy, you'd be like, "Don't go." I can't resist.
Yeah.
I love.
It was
his
like Charlie
thuggish-
Sheen in Major League.
I love Chance's thuggish ways. Josh says, Freddie T, I'm 6'4", 230, and I drink a lot of water every day. I have I have a water bottle my company gave me, and I drink 4 or 5 of them a day, a.k.a. 4 to 5 liters. I urinate 10 to 14 times a day. You are good. I do drink most nights, so that's extra fluid, Josh. When I drank, I peed less, I think, at least during the day, during my non-drinking hours, because I believe the dehydration.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Because you'd have to come in, you just have to start chugging Gatorades.
It sounds like that dude's drinking too much water.
You can die, as evidenced by the "we for we" bit. That
yeah. I mean,
fired.
the internal drowning thing, if you take into extremes, but it's like over watering your grass. You don't want to be flushing out everything all the time. I stick with a glass of water in the morning, and I figure I'm good. 8 ounces. 8 ounces a day. And that's without fail, Wallach. I'm not gonna go less than that. You
below
understand?
the recommended daily.
Not for me. Sarah and Everett.
Oh, cool.
You got something going with Sarah and Everett. If I'm your,
I think she's a delight.
If I'm your wife, I'm a little concerned about you insisting on Sarah from Everett.
She emails multiple times a day, every day.
And I would too if I was her. I'm getting all this attention.
I sent this to John.
I have it here, yes.
Because I know he's a big Pitbull fan, but I'm not sure if he can hear the audio because of the tumor ear.
Thanks,
my dog was freaking out during a thunderstorm, and she sounded just like Mr. Worldwide rapping.
If you're here for a good time, put your hands up, now sing. Whoa, get ready, bam-a-lam. Whoa, get ready, bam-a-lam. Whoa.
I don't know if that's what the dog sounded like, though.
Come on.
Fire it all.
He bought the naming rights to a football stadium, not like Alabama or Clemson, but like Florida International.
Yeah, I have a feling that's a bit of a wrong, short-sighted publicity stunt by the school.
Really?
Yes, I think that I highly doubt that it went down as it's been reported.
And dare I say, short-sighted, monetarily and fiscally irresponsible by Pitbull. Maybe you should be putting some money in the bank.
I don't think there's any chance Pitbull has the liquid capital to make a transaction of that amount that he cannot recoup. There's no way that he has that amount of money for a vanity project.
$1 million a year.
When was the last time Pitbull made $5 million in a year?
Keith Urban, Mr. Worldwide.
So he made $10 on that song. I mean, the Black Betty song that you just played, he couldn't have made any money on. Yeah, so this is just throw away the money. It's just because it's all going to go to whoever did Black Betty. So when was the last time you think that he went to Lynn the last time he was in town?
Do you believe it all in Celebrity Net Worth, the website?
No.
They got him at north of $100 million.
No way.
God, you're so jealous of Pitbull. It's kind of disgusting.
That is true. Every time I feign disdain for someone who's not talented, it really is. It is jealousy. You think let's do the exercise. How is Pitbull worth? He didn't make $100 million selling albums. because it's not 1985. So how did Pitbull make his money? How many major tours has he gone on, and how much do you think he's grossing per show? I mean, we can really get through the mathematics. Worth $100 million. He has $100 million in assets. I mean, I know he grinds and hustles.
Perhaps that investment in bad boy Latino records is not panning out the way.
I'm going to guess if he's investing and grinding this much, he's lost more money than he's made. That's usually what happens to people who think money making is not a passive activity. It's a passive exercise. You compound it and make money passively. You don't sit around throwing it at people trying to hit a lottery.
He's not exactly performing in big venues either.
Yeah, where is he playing?
Well, he is doing the Xfinity Center next month, but after that, it's Bristow, Virginia, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's playing Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Tinley Park, Illinois.
Okay, so how much does Loverboy make a year? Pitbull's playing the same markets that Loverboy plays in.
Yeah.
I'm being told he sold out the Garden last fall.
Sold it out?
Which one? TD? Madison Square?
No,
Really?
the Boston Beer Garden over on Market Street.
It's a valid question. He sold out the Garden. He sold it out. There's a report.
That's what Top 40 Shorty just told me.
No, I think Mike found it, but it says like he sold out the Garden.
I'm not justifying it, but it does say his lucrative endorsement deals with Kodak, Dr. Pepper. He has his own vodka line. Sold more than 25 million records worldwide.
Okay, so his own vodka line, you think that makes money?
Everybody that has a vodka or a tequila or some sort of spirit makes
George Clooney and Sammy Hagar are the guys that made money doing that.
What about Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds is losing millions of dollars on that dumb vanity soccer team.
What about Trump vodka? And he's a billionaire.
He made all his money in Bibles.
You think he made it in real estate in New York in the 80s? Idiot. No.
Oh, I was understanding his father gave him a big loan and he started buying real estate.
That's all.
Yeah,
media
you know what?
It's fake news.
Fake news. Here's how he makes his money. He co-founded a restaurant franchise, Miami Grill. Duh. That's where all the money's coming from.
That is true because there's nothing, you can ask anyone who does it, there's nothing as secure as putting your money into a restaurant.
They sell Cuban sandwiches and empanadas. So that's worth $100 million right there.
If he owned 10 McDonald's, I'd say great. And then I'd be like, fantastic, you're a franchisee, good for you. You invested the money well. But that's also a passive activity for him.
Russ wants to know if we can mix the Prince song that the state of Minnesota uses with intern Isaac. Try a live mix here. I don't know if this is going to work. We'll try it.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Almost.
Mike, throw something together.
Hey there.
That was better.
Isaac? Is Friday your last day, Isaac?
Yes, it is. That's what he says.
Hi.
Jesus. Why did I let you in just to let you leave, Isaac?
Yep, that's me.
Isaac is going to go back, hopefully, and spread the word, the truth, because we've had a bit of a spiritual study program going as well.
Oh, you guys doing that like post-show every day?
Yeah. It's just a small tithing to me. You go back, and if you can find 10 other guys to tithe,
right?
Then they get guys to tithe, and then it's a nice pyramid.
Hi.
It doesn't have to be money either. If you have 10 potatoes, you give Fred one. You know, if you got 10 puppies, give Fred a puppy.
Yeah.
It's just a tithing.
Right.
Bring out the gimp. Say my name, Isaac.
That might be the best one.
But you just took that from Pulp Fiction. That's actually the line.
My name is Isaac Brendel. Say my name, Isaac.
Well, Isaac, it's one of the problems about meeting someone like Isaac is they're gonna fly off on their own. I can only keep them in this cocoon of safety before he's off back to his grandmother's house in Hofstra.
Say my name, Isaac.
All right. That's enough of that.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
I'm going to cry.
We're going to do Isaac's greatest hits on Friday. It's the
We
last
just
day.
did.
Oh, that was it?
Or just blew a Friday.
Damn it.
Sean, I don't know how much more you think there is, but that was it.
Hey there.
Oh, Isaac. You come and then you leave. Love them and leave them. Nah. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Maybe.
If I can get through. All right, here are the headlines.
show. It's time for The Stack on Dutcher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestford.com.
Sad news, boys. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck have filed for divorce.
I told you the story that someone I know, so it's going to sound stupid, but let me explain. Someone I know received a text from someone they know who took a picture of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner this summer at a camp holding their son's hand.
Okay.
Like each, it was it was actually a sweet picture. It was, each of them, obviously they love the child. A, why take that picture? And B, then why send that around to people? Like, you just want to prove that you saw the backs of Ben Affleck? They're with their kid. Leave them alone. That ring, I didn't like that. I didn't like that they did that.
This was a friend of yours that sent the picture?
No, I don't know the person who sent the picture, but they sent it to someone I know.
Did you unsubscribe from the whole process and tell your friend to tell that other friend to tell their friend to not do that?
No, this was old-fashioned. They showed me the picture on their phone. This was like Nokia times. This is like the late 90s.
Oh.
They showed me the picture on their phone.
I can't believe this didn't work out for these two. 2-year marriage. They filed in Los Angeles. They have been reportedly been living separately, and J-Lo canceled her summer tour to spend time with the family. They put the Beverly Hills home on the market. This is just 2 years after Ben proposed to her with a 6-carat pink diamond ring.
Well, you know when the picture at the camp was taken, this is actual, like a little gossip. It was when Jennifer Lopez was having her 50th birthday party down in the Hamptons.
Well, this is what I believe was the final nail in the coffin, at least from Ben's side. He was not at the birthday party, and it was a Bridgerton-themed birthday party.
Ew.
If anything is going to make me want to get out of a relationship, tell me that I have to attend, number one, a theme birthday party, and the theme is Bridgerton.
Well, then good luck getting laid, because I got news for you. A lot of women are watching Bridgerton.
Yep.
But they're not throwing parties for themselves.
They would if they had the money, if they had the wherewithal to do it, if not the wherewithal, if they had the funds to do it, they would. Believe me. I've given Bridgerton gifts to females. Mm-hmm. They liked Bridgerton so much.
What a nightmare. I'm looking at the video that J-Lo put on her Instagram right now with, the Victorian chamber music playing and the dancing and her arriving in a horse-drawn carriage with the... What are you doing?
Why do you think they got married?
What are you doing?
Why? What do you think made them... Like, I understand that they got in a relationship, but what do you think made them get married? Like, why go through that whole exercise?
Well, J-Lo said at the time, and as recently as 2 years ago, they've only been married for 2 years, that it was... a wonderful celebration of love, and that they were able to.
But couldn't you just have a party
after all these years?
Does Jennifer Lopez have kids? Like Ben Affleck's already got kids.
I think she does.
Why are they getting married?
Well,
they're both billionaires. Why are they getting married?
Business from 10 years ago.
I mean, the divorce now is just going to be whatever. I guarantee you they had prenups to just keep their own stuff. Yeah. So that's like an easy exercise. So why even get married? Like, there's no division of... You understand what I'm saying? There's no division of assets. There's no kids to worry about.
Just be a couple.
Yeah, just why get married? Just be a couple. I understand when you're... Like, people like me would get married because you don't want to die alone. And, there'd be financial considerations and things like that. But two billionaires, just stay dating. Why go through all this? It doesn't make sense. What, you get your soup?
You good, Zoe?
Zoe's in there just shoveling
away.
Chocolate cookies and slurping away. And is that coffee? What do you got? Coffee. Okay. Why are you eating it with a spoon? Your coffee with a spoon?
It's a little hot, so I just sip it. Hey, I was listening to a couple segments, and early you guys were playing some music coming back from breaks. Then it just abruptly stopped.
Yeah,
I was getting into the jam.
Yeah, I know that we've had some.
Is that like a new thing in the mornings?
Apparently, that's what when things are going really well. That's what they have you start doing.
Superman. What we got here?
Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
Everybody, it's hump day. Everyone's working 9 to 5. Working for the weekend. Sunny skies at 9:51.
On the upswing to 10 o'clock, 8 minutes here on this Wednesday morning. Why don't you talk up the ramp of this one?
Hey, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I would have time. All right. Well, Scott Zolak is here. Scott Zolak, you smell wonderful.
Thank you.
We do.
Well showered, dressed, and did my hair and put some cologne on.
He did his hair.
I did.
Do you blow dry that hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife has one of those ion dryers that it's kind of cool. Dyson.
Oh yeah,
It dries in like 1 second. It's nuts.
Yeah, my daughter has a collection of them. Absolutely.
400 each. Yeah.
Oh, I see what's on your screen. I knew you would. I knew you were going to find a way to shoehorn this
I just
in.
wanted to say congratulations to Mark Daniels, friend of the show.
Where'd he do it?
Oh, he did it by me. 4 kicks. Little executive course in the back.
It doesn't count. That's not a hole in one.
It kind of doesn't count.
It doesn't count. It's not a real golf course.
Hardy, you should see this dump. It's like literally a pasture behind it.
No, it's awesome that he did it, and it would be cool, but it doesn't count as a hole in
All
one.
right, before we start, killing him, Mark Daniels tweeted yesterday, I've been learning how to golf.
Yeah.
I don't like that phrase. How to golf. I've been learning the game. Just put that and then capitalize game. For the first time.
Don't put the A in it. Put a dash because you can't write it. It's like Jewish people with God.
And started to take lessons in May. It's super challenging but crazy addicting. Today I was practicing at a pitch and putt, 4 kicks, and hit a hole-in-one. Got a hole-in-one. On the 7th hole, 122 yards. A kid behind me saw it. Awesome feeling.
Yeah.
And he's holding up a photo of the ball, which is a Wilson. I didn't even know they still made Wilson.
by the way,
It's a legitimate kid. Literally 9-year-olds play this course.
And then the 9-year-old came up and hit a hole in one. Yeah. That'd be like I was on the practice green. You should have made it a 60-foot putt.
Is it really a Wilson ball?
I didn't know Wilson made balls either.
Yeah, it is. Buy me Kmart.
Hey, you can buy. Do you know at Kmart they sold some kind of ball that a lot of people that I know would go wait in line for because they only let you buy like a box of them.
Oh, but they were selling them cheap?
Yeah.
Top Flight?
No, it was
like Pro V1.
Pro V1.
It was I can't remember what the ball was, but anyway, Kmart would sell them, and my next door neighbor would go and like wait in line like before it opened. And then they would go in and they limited the amount of boxes.
It was the only place that sold orange and neon yellow balls, like Montgomery Ward's and Kmart. And I remember as a kid, if I got those, you were so excited.
Oh, they're coming back. Now people are using them again. Mark Daniels says in this Twitter thread, somebody asked him what his handicap is. He says he's a 30.9. I think you versus Mark Daniels would be a good match, so.
Oh, it'd be great.
I think that would be a back and
on
forth.
a real course, though. You think he could get out there a little bit?
Well,
problem is finding my ball off the tee.
I would say you guys probably be pretty close.
Can you frame make something to display the ball you got a hole in one at?
Oh, sure.
At a pitch and putt?
Well, you can just have it made, sure.
Does it count?
No.
As the host of the golf show, does it count?
Come on, you're the host of the golf show. There's only one left.
Mark, you listen to me. It counts. Congratulations.
Hey, look at that. He doesn't mean that.
That's 5 afternoon shows left.
Mark, good job. Congratulations.
He just doesn't want to turn anyone off to the game.
With a capital G.
That's right. People really, golfers really suffering.
It's America's game.
Well done, buddy.
I'm off to the doctor to see if I have the diabetes.
Oh, good luck with that.
No, I had to get the appointment anyway, but because of my AIDS. So.
Sure.
All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone,
what happens if you end up having it? You better just go right across the hall over to your cuckoo doctor and get that looked at because you're going to be spun, son.
I think they have something to restrain me. If they give me bad news, they have a jacket or some
sort. You're welcome. Here are the straps.
Yeah. Do you guys, when you go to the doctor, they put you in this weird white room, and everything's cushions. Is that odd for you? Do they test your blood before they see you? Well, Hardy, well, listen, it
Good
won't
luck.
be the first time. I put you as an emergency contact, so get ready for a call. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.